everyone, Old School Pokemon here, back again with the Pokeflips podcast, joined by my usual co-host, KetchumAllCollectibles Dan. And today we've got a special guest. We got Mr. Retrospecs joining us as well. How are you both doing today?
Excellent. How you doing, Retro?
Doing good. I just want to say it's crazy. Like, I appreciate you guys having me on, but it's crazy. Like, the first time I ever met you guys in real life was at Denver Collecticon, and I remember being in the Spicy Mansion and asking you guys, like, there's no way this keeps up, right? And I feel like we were all kind of like, I don't know, like, probably not. And here we are. It's crazy, man. It's crazy where everything has gotten to. So yeah, appreciate you guys having me on, and here's to another 5 years, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I just searched retro on Pokeflips, and you were we don't do the season episode number, though we're coming up on 5 years, coming in hot, end of March. I think it'll be 5 years. But season 2, episode 19. You were on with us over 3 years ago now. Like, I knew this wasn't your first appearance, but I didn't realize it had been 3 years. That's crazy. How far we've come. I'm gonna look at that's back when I used to.
When was what would that have been? That would have been what, 21, 22?
December 15th, 2022. So almost exactly 3 years ago.
Oh, that was my birthday. That's right. I remember that. Okay, that's crazy.
That's funny. Back when we used to timestamp, we used to timestamp all the different topics. Nick used to jot down notes, and then I'd go back and I'd
taking the podcast seriously back then. What a bunch of nerds we were.
Back when Nick could still stay awake the whole time.
We talked about buying Japanese cards in USA. We talked about sorting bulk for TCG Player. We asked if Retro owned binders. We asked if we were bearish or bullish. I should have gone through and like try to find some little snippets, but man, that thumbnail was one of the peak thumbnails of all time. I will say, if people browse and see the old episode with Retro, but yeah, I think everyone probably knows who Retro is. We've got a nice little pretty tight community here. There was a good solid year where it was like a meme on Pokeflips and it was a meme on my channel, like to do the obligatory Retro shout out for the Japanese sealed wholesale boxes, all that stuff.
I appreciate that.
And at this point now, I think Nick alluded to it in this thumbnail. Retro's out here buying. Did you ever buy the Cybertruck? Is that something that you actually own yet?
I talked to my accountant, and she said it would be better to wait until next year and use it as a business vehicle. So I think that's the plan. So
definitely appreciative of tax efficiency. So all for following the professionals' opinions on that stuff. But I don't know what a Cybertruck weighs, but I'd imagine it's a lot. I forget the number, but there's a key number where if it's over a certain amount of like pounds, it can be expensed all in 1 year, I believe, as opposed to like having to amortize it, depreciate it across multiple years. I know that it exists, but I don't know.
I think you're right.
Sure your accountant will know.
No, I think you're right on that, actually, because she said like if you're gonna buy something, like an SUV is better, but I didn't like double click on why. So I think it might have had to do. Yep. Yeah, it might have had something to do with the weight. So that's smart. I'll ask her about that. That's pretty gangster. That's a cool little loophole.
Yeah. I know some people will buy like the big, not a minivan. They'll buy like a big full like Mercedes van, whatever. They'll buy one of those big actual vans because it meets some weight threshold to be able to be written off in 1 year. But anyways, yeah, what I was saying, I think everyone here knows who you are. But for those who don't, Retro, who are you? Where can they find you? I did link the Instagram in the description below. If anyone wants to reach out.
Yeah, I am super inconsistent on YouTube, but hopefully we'll be changing that moving forward. I do Japanese wholesale, so if you guys need like booster boxes, or sometimes I do like promos, or like the start deck 100s are coming out here pretty soon, and people are excited about those because those have like a lot of like really cool custom, like I guess you could call them alt arts, but people are excited about those, so stuff like that. But yeah, if you ever need anything for like your stream, your business, vending, whatever, hit me up on Instagram at _retrospecs. But I do require sales tax exempt permits so that I can sell to you tax free. So as long as you have like a business license, I can find the correct form for you and have you fill it out. Once I have it on file, we're good. But I do need that because I don't charge sales tax and I don't work with people that are not businesses. So that's just a little caveat up front.
You want to do business with Giovanni, you've got to be doing business yourself. You got to have things above board, legitimate. I kind of like, I've memed about it in the past, like, hey, everyone, do your part. Go get sales tax exempt, one, because it's better for you. But like if you're buying from people on eBay, like people pay final value fees on the sales tax that you pay. So like it actually helps everyone, including yourself, when you do things above board. So like if you want to transact with Giovanni, if you want to do business with Retro, you've got to be doing it legitimately. So like I love that because it an interesting question that I thought of from that. How many people did you like have to cease relationships with? I'm sure it's probably very vibes. You probably don't have an actual like number, but like did you see a decent drop off of names that were ordering every week, every month, and they wouldn't clear that hurdle of getting sales tax exempt?
I think a lot of people that were like ordering pretty consistently were like maybe at first they sort of were not super stoked about it, but then they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna, like I need this anyways, and maybe other options are requiring it. I don't know, but like a lot of people that didn't have the forms or like didn't have an LLC or whatever have like since gotten it. But yeah, it is tough to quantify. There's like definitely for sure, like back when I could just like sell to literally anybody, there was more like one-off people that would just hit me up and say like, hey, I want 10 boxes, here's my order. And it was, but most of the like recurring people, and it's kind of like a filter too, right? Because like the people that are already kind of like set up are people that have like a good business going because they are doing stuff the right way and they are like more business savvy. So maybe like less people ordering smaller amounts, but the people ordering like super consistently larger amounts are still here. And then obviously like you guys all have like your stuff. So like most of the people that we're all familiar with are still pretty good. But yeah, there was definitely a little bit of like a fall off, but I'm glad I did it like earlier than later, and like didn't cause like more problems for myself down the line having to deal with like Nexus or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, same thing like with the tariffs too, right? Like at first, like people were like, oof, like this is rough. And I tried to make it as easy as possible. Like, hey, like I prepay everything up front. It is what it is. But everybody's like, I don't know, like unless you're doing some like backdoor dodgy stuff, like everybody's kind of playing or on a level playing field rather. So once like new products started coming out and everybody was sort of subject to the same like laws and regulations, things sort of like even back out. But it's definitely been like a wild year, lots of stuff to navigate with like, yeah, just the business changing and the tariffs and stuff like that. But still really strong, and then like Chinese coming online, like I think is crazy. And I see like more and more stores like starting to order that. And like sometimes if people haven't tried it, I'm like, hey, like I won't ever force something on you, but like this sells really good for me. Like I'll send you a case for free. Let me know how it goes. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And just kind of like pay me when it sells. But I think a lot of people are seeing success with that too, because it's like a cheaper option. Because obviously like English has gotten so expensive that like going and ripping something at the store with your kid for like $300 is kind of rough for a lot of people. But like going to a store and ripping a box that's like all evolutions, every single card in the set is hollow, and it's like $60, that's like way more approachable for people. So I think that kind of like fills a need rather. So that's been something kind of cool that's come online too this year.
Yeah. Quick comment. I see Nick, you got him straightened around in chat, but Winona asks, is the stream format different this time? We're simultaneously live vertical format for like your mobile usage and horizontal format for your TV or desktop. If you're on the one that you don't want to be on, click on Pokeflips. You'll see us live twice. Click on the proper one. But yeah, it's a new feature of StreamYard as of like a month ago, and we've been using it since. I've seen some other podcasts in the space also using both formats. And as always, we're going to be here for the next 2.5 hours or so. We're probably going to go till about 4 p.m. Eastern. If anyone has any questions, feel free to leave them in chat. We're just going to be hanging out, Nick and myself. answering all your questions as always. So leave them in chat. I see some starting to come, so we will run with them. Krabby's cards. We spoke about this for like a second quick before we went live, but Dan, your booster boxes to $100 take doesn't count starting in 2027 when the new printing facility opens. And then in the same vein too, which will spin us into the first topic of the day, I guess. Brad says, did Dan ever pay up for losing his bet to Retro? So as I said, like 2027, May of 2027 is when Destin will turn 2 years old. I'm not good with like the code on the card tells you when it's in like standard format. I don't know the exact time frames for it being out of the standard format window or whatever, but I always go on approximately 2 years. I think Packs of Destin will go sub MSRP. I could be entirely wrong. If and when I owe a case of the Attaché Team Rocket case, whatever it is. I don't think I have one handy here. That fancy rocket case.
The briefcase.
Yeah.
What did you call it?
Isn't that what it's called? An ATACHE?
Yeah, like attaché or whatever. I think they were trying to be like spy, you know what I mean? Like so like dossier attaché. Like they're trying to be all like, ooh, Team Rocket. So yeah, I mean it's just a briefcase, but it looks cool and it's cheaper than the one that's like $15,000 now. So it's cool to have.
When does this bet go till?
Presumably about May of 2027. Like if it hadn't happened by then, if it doesn't happen within the 2 years, I will tap out. I will say like, yes, I was wrong. I lost that bet, but I'm bullish. It sounds like I have a new print facility coming on my team. And hey, insider info, you heard it here first. I heard that facility was made because they watched the Poke Flips. They watched the episode. They watched the live stream where I made the bet with Retro. They are fully wanting me to win, so they're only printing Destin Rivals booster packs. That's what I heard, at least. No guarantees there, but I heard that print facility was solely made to make me win my bet, to get people their Destined under MSRP. So we'll see what happens on that. But let me see if I can find the Poke Beach article. Retro, I'm way too deep in the PokeTube rabbit holes and stuff. I heard about it last night. I think it was fresh news yesterday. Yeah, yesterday at 4:45 p.m. I'll pull this on screen and give everyone a quick overview. But what are your guys' initial thoughts? Nick, if you want to go first, and then I can share the article from Poke Beach, and then Retro, once you have the full information, then you can give your thoughts too.
I haven't looked into it that much either, but I'm excited for it. I just saw like a thing on Instagram story. So is it them expanding their current facility, or is it them actually making a whole new facility? Either way, it's a very needed upgrade. And
I'll give a quick.
Yeah, let's hear the quick synopsis there.
Yeah. I'll give a quick synopsis because I genuinely don't know the full answers either. But an unidentified company has agreed to lease 1.27 million square feet at the Spark Manufacturing Campus in Morrisville, North Carolina. According to the developers, this represents the largest manufacturing lease signed in the U.S. in 2025. So, like, putting into context of just commercial, industrial type manufacturing, this is big. This is very big. I know where I used to work was a 150,000 square foot building. It was massive. 1.27 million is very, very massive. I think Troll and Toad. I think the company that Troll and Toad and Mad Al and a few other businesses in, I think that's about 1 million square feet. While developers have not publicly named the tenant, we can confirm it is Millennium Print Group. That is a wholly owned subsidiary of Pokemon. Like Pokemon bought that. They've been running it for a few years now. In addition to leasing more than 400,000 square feet of existing buildings at Spark, Millennium will also receive a newly constructed 866,000 square foot manufacturing facility on the campus. So I'm not super tapped into the industrial printing type facilities. I don't know how long it takes to spool one up, but it sounds like a two-phase thing. Phase one, they're leasing soon 400,000 square feet. How long it takes to a brand new lease to actually get the printers purchased, manufactured, loaded in, all the adjustments made, like that might take 12 months. just to fire up like the current fresh lease space. That's a guess. Like I couldn't see it being shorter than at least a few months, and then the actual time to print substantial amounts of Pokemon cards. But one portion is leasing existing buildings, which should be sooner, quicker, and then the other portion is construction that will be newly started on 866,000 square feet that won't be completed until 2027. At least in my area, when we used to have projects that were multi-year, very few hit the time frame. When I hear 2027, it's like it's probably going to be December 2027. It could be June 2028. Like the way that some of these time frames can slip over time, who knows? Maybe it's January 2027. Maybe they're printing 30 billion cards in 2027, 2028. But throughout 2025, TPCI has acknowledged current shortages, stating it's printing at max capacity. And yeah, the bottleneck is printing capacity. The printers can't keep up with demand. So what, like the engineer in me, the initial questions that come to my mind are like, what is their current footprint today? Is 1.27 million square feet? It sounds like a lot. Is that a 30% increase? Do they currently have 3 million square feet and they're adding a million to it? Or do they have like 1 million square feet and they're doubling it? Like, I truly don't know. I don't have context. Maybe you can go on to Google Maps and you can look up Millennium Print Group and you can just do the measure and you could like, maybe you can just, and maybe someone will do that. Maybe I'll do that before my live stream next week, I guess. But I don't know what it means in terms of like raw added annualized cards printed per year. And note, this is like one facility in one state. This is nothing to do with their Japanese operations, nothing to do with their European operations or whatever. But yeah, now that we have a little bit more of the picture, Nick, both of you guys, what do you guys think?
I think it's exciting. It obviously Pokemon is wants to succeed, but it shows that they're willing to put in this massive commitment to expand and start printing more cards. It is a bummer it's going to take so long, but that's like with anything. So it is nice to see that they're long-term commitment or long-term committed to this and kind of thinking for the future and expecting that things will kind of continue the way they have been in the long term. So hopefully that does continue, and hopefully we actually do see more cards come out. I can't wait for that day to come.
Yeah, I think like a big part of this too is the fact that like they're not just going to be printing Pokemon. So I think people will like hear that big number and be like, oh, like they're going to print like straight Pokemon, but like you have to realize like the bull market is so wide, like it's expanded. I mean, like, you know, like One Piece I think is like one of the big talking points now, you know, and then you have, you know, Lorcana and Magic and sports cards and non-sports cards and like all this sort of stuff. So for me, like looking at it from like a business point of view, it's kind of a smart move on Nintendo's part because it sort of like adds this sort of like ARR model because they have all these other TCG sports cards, non-sports cards that are going to be using that facility. So it's like, what percentage of that is going to print Pokemon versus they're just building out? Because, you know, maybe Pokemon is infringing on other TCGs and, you know, other card categories ability to get out what they need to get out. And so maybe this is not only going to solve like some of the Pokemon supply problem, but like also all these other card games and, you know, card types too. So like it's consistent annual recurring revenue for Nintendo, which is solid, you know, definitely going to help the company there. But then, yeah, obviously, like I'm sure some percentage of that will be Pokemon. It's interesting. I mean, it sounds massive, but it's also like what percentage of that square footage is like actual printing and like what percentage of that is like storage or order fulfillment or what, like, I don't know like what that all looks like and what that takes, but it's cool. And I think it kind of just is another signal that like this industry is here to stay and companies are continuing to build out more and more infrastructure. Like I've seen PSA talk about how like they're opening in offices like all over Europe and like all this different stuff. So like the more infrastructure that gets built out, I think like knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, more supply means like lower prices. But I kind of look, I try to take the other side of that and be more optimistic and say like more infrastructure means like bigger pie, like more people are going to be coming into the industry. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think overall it's probably a net positive for sure.
Mm-hmm.
While you guys were answering, I was doing a little bit of investigative work, and I located two of Millennium's facilities. I don't know how many they have. It looks like they have at least 3 or 4, but like this building is 200 feet by 250 feet. Again, how much is office space? How much is how much is actual printing? This is only a 50,000 square foot building. And then
that looks tiny.
Yeah,
oh,
further across North Carolina, the other side a little bit. This one's 200 by 500. This one's about the size of the building that I used to work in. Mine had office space was like 2-story, so I think all the office space was like doubled. But I think our building was roughly 250 by like 500, which is like 125,000 square feet. And then it had a second story for the office space, so it was like 150, 160,000 square feet. But these other ones say Migrant Glass, Ready Carpet, Piedmont Plastics. Like I don't know if this one next to it is Millennium Print Group, but anyways, I'm not seeing like a 1 million square foot building. I'm not seeing 1 million square feet of total building. So the question that I had asked is like, is this 30% increase? Is this doubling? I can't say definitively with what I looked at, but it feels like it's fairly substantial. And one angle you guys kind of addressed, like I think the whole interesting thing that a lot of people will go to initially is like, oh, think of the children, MSRP, scalpers, all that stuff. And I think that stuff will resolve some of that if and when the print runs go higher. But one thing that I think initially is like, one, I've been saying for a long time, short plastic, long cardboard. I'm bullish on cardboard. I did another quick Google. Average new construction cost for like industrial buildings. The variance is going to be massive. If you're building a warehouse, they say $35 a square foot. If you're building like a high-tech industrial thing in a city, it's going to be towards $250 a square foot. But like on average, $150 a square foot. Pokemon is investing over $100 million, presumably, in this 800,000 square foot new build building. So like them just having the business case built, like they see way more than we see. We're always speculating, pontificating to no end on these YouTube live streams and these YouTube videos. They like what this tells me though is that Pokemon has looked at everything. Talk versus walk. They're putting in $100 million, hundreds of millions of dollars to get this new capacity built up. And like that just makes me so bullish. That makes me so bullish on the pallets I already have. That makes me feel really confident about my Sword Shield, my Scarlet Violet, all the things that I've already piled up. It makes me optimistic that hopefully for future generations, I can get those $100, $120 price points again someday. A lot of people saying they're gone forever. I've never really believed they're gone forever. And maybe like time frame wise, maybe I lose the bet to retro and Destin never goes under MSRP. But like the following generation, maybe you do have opportunity to get them 100, 120 a box because like if and when we go, and I've said this for a while now, right now we're printing 12 billion cards a year, roughly. We're printing roughly 1 billion cards a month. If in 2035, if in 2040, the hobby has grown to where we're printing 30, 40 billion cards a year, the same way that we used to think, because I've been around for like 11 years now. 11 years, 2014 is when I got back in. I remember the criticism of XY was that they're printing so much more XY than black and white. This stuff will never be investable. And then Sun and Moon, it's like they're printing so much more of this than XY than they did XY. So Sun and Moon will never be investable. And then Sword and Shield, and just level setting where print runs were approximately 3 billion cards a year, 3 billion cards a year when I started in the hobby, XY time frame. They're printing 5 times that right now. If they 5x again, the bull case for like things today are like things today in 5 years will look and feel like, and maybe even accelerated because live streaming and ripping has become more of a thing. But the way that we look back on prices and all the print runs and how scarce it is, the way we look back on XY Sun and Moon, we might be doing that in generation 11, generation 12, back on Sword, Shield, and Scarlet and Violet. So like these Evolving Skies boxes that are $2,000 right now, they truly could be $10,000, $15,000, like Phantom Forces, like sets like that. These $300 Destined Rivals boxes truly could be $2,000, like Evolving Skies. Like the bull case is there. The bull case is absolutely there. And when you see evidence like this, when you see Pokemon putting their money where their mouth is, putting $100 million plus into building out new production, I'm bullish. I'm bullish for sure.
Well, one thing I was going to ask too is, do they only do cards? Because one thing I haven't heard anyone talk about in a long time is Pokemon Lego. Like that's going to be massive. And
ooh, that is true.
You know what I'm saying? And like I could see them needing square footage, literally just like Lego needing like extra square footage just to like fulfill how much demand there's going to be for Pokemon Lego. So it's like, will they do any of that there, or is it only like a specific like card facility? I don't know, but I think that's gonna print. Like I think that's gonna do so well. And I think Lego. I don't know if Lego is publicly traded, but I'm sure they're gonna make a ton of money on Pokemon. And I'm glad they're doing it, because like every time you go into Target and you see like the knockoff brand Lego Pokemon stuff, it's like, come on, dude, like what are we doing here? Like just make it. They have like Lego One Piece. It's like, how do you have Lego One Piece but not Lego Pokemon, dude? Like I don't know. So I'm excited for that for sure.
That's
was
definitely
going to
the
be
biggest.
so hard to get when it
Yeah,
released.
that was the biggest miscollab of all time. I did a quick Google, and yeah, again, bullish. And as far as I understand, like PBM Graphics, which is the one that prints Magic in the new MetaZoo, Millennium is primarily Pokemon, but they have contracts for other people too. I think they're printing some of like the boxes. They're printing some of the actual like the ETB booklets. Like I could be wrong, but I think they print some of their own packaging as well. There are some other none of the names are coming to my mind, but I'm sure you see. Is it like Bennett packaging or something? There are certain things that I've seen on a lot of the boxes that I think it's one of like they make the cardboard boxes, like the actual cases, but there are certain names that Pokemon also uses that makes like the actual cardboard cases and stuff. But anyways, I did a quick Google. I think years ago, maybe decades ago, I think Lego is like a Denmark company, a Danish company, I guess is the right way to say that. Yeah. Decades ago, I think they were all made in Denmark for a while, but now apparently there's 6 factories worldwide: Denmark, Hungary, Mexico, China, Vietnam, and then it says right here, which I had not heard elsewhere, a new factory in the United States in Virginia is also expected to be fully operational by 2027. So I'm sure some amount of that was probably like Lego's just general growth. Some amount of that is probably being expedited because of the whole tariff situation. I'm sure Lego probably doesn't want to deal with like, hey, now to get them into the United States, where probably one of their major demand centers, they're probably being added that frictional 10-15% fee or whatever. So yeah, like speculation, but I think it's strong speculation that they're probably doing everything they can to expedite that. A combination of like, hey, these Pokemon lines are going to have massive demand. They're going to need massive print. But then also additionally, like, hey, this new tariff situation that kind of fell on us in 2025, we're going to save a lot of money once we get domestic infrastructure to manufacture in the United States. So yeah, that's interesting. But bullish, very, very, very bullish. I hope.
On Lego too, in Japan, Lego is big. Like they have like entire sections of like toy stores like built out, because obviously like a lot of them are Nintendo IPs too. You know what I mean? Like there's like the Super Mario stuff, and then like One Piece and stuff like that. So I don't like. I feel like it's not just going to be like American demand. Like the Pokemon Lego demand is going to be worldwide. So they definitely need to step up production. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, no, you're fine. And I was just going to say, like, right now, again, when I got into the hobby, print runs were 2 to 3 billion cards a year. It's great. Like, we're 5X'd. We've already 5X'd from when I joined the hobby on, like, pure, just raw print numbers. We're printing 12 billion cards a year, approximately. A billion cards a month. I hope 5 years from now, the new baseline is 25, 30 billion. Not just because that bodes well for, like, my current investments, right? But like it makes the hobby bigger overall. It shares this thing that we all know and love with a lot more people, and I think they'll enjoy it as well. So I really like all that. I did a quick Google too, just out of curiosity. While exact figures fluctuate, estimates suggest over 1.1 trillion Lego bricks have been made by 2024. Just out of curiosity, it's like how many Lego bricks do they make a year?
Because
They
they've
say
been
roughly
a company for so long.
They say 36 billion bricks annually, approximately. So they're making 3 Lego bricks for every 1 Pokemon card currently. But hey, and now we got something to shoot for. My hopes are by 2040, I would like to see the number of Pokemon cards overtaking 1-for-1 Lego bricks. But with Pokemon Lego coming, that will be hard. That will be a hard race to win, I'd imagine.
I cannot quite see that,
but yeah, Just Humble says just in time to print Destin Rivals to the ground before it goes out of rotation in 2027. That will actually be hilarious.
Exactly.
It will be hilarious if like Pokemon makes a big like ribbon cutting ceremony, like, hey guys, we just unveiled our new print, and then like 3 months later, in the final moments of the bet, like I win at that last second solely due to this. Like they had to spend $100 million to make Retro lose the briefcase bet. That will be hilarious.
Did you?
One thing I would.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead,
did
Nick,
you?
go ahead.
With Destin Rivals, did you get any more Destin Rivals recently? Because I just got. I don't know if it was just something they found in the warehouse and he offered it to me, but I got yeah, exactly. I got 3 cases of the sleeve boosters.
I did get sleeve boosters. I just got Phantasmal and Destin Rival sleeve boosters. Over the last 2 months, I was just talking about that this morning in office hours. Over the last 2 months, I've been getting like a lot of different things. Like they're printing all kinds. I got prismatic booster bundles. I got different poster collections. I got like all different kinds of stuff. My Wave 2 Charizard UPCs just hit. All different kinds of stuff has been flowing the past 2 months, and like prices are still doing what they're doing. Like a lot of it is being consumed, which again makes me bullish for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want to load up on those Phantasmal, or I guess they're not Phantasmal Flames UPCs, but the Mega Charizard UPCs. Like those are good, dude. And like print quality in English has definitely like taken a step up when they like went into the Mega era. I don't know if they changed the blades. I don't like it's. I've kind of noticed this, and I'd maybe like to talk to somebody at some point at a print facility, but like I've noticed this, especially with Japanese sets, like a set will come out and the centering is really, it's kind of like, have you ever set your car clock against like your phone and it's like seconds off, and then over time, the spread, like you get what I'm saying? Like you said, it's like 4:55 and your phone is 4:55, but then like 3 months later, your car clock says like 5 o'clock when your phone says like 4:57 type thing. I feel like that's what happens with the computers when they're doing the sets, because like they calibrate them initially. And so like maybe the first print run is good. Like Terrestrial Festival, the first print run of that was so good. Centering was really nice. The cuts were really nice, all that sort of stuff. And then every subsequent wave after that, centering was god awful. So I think, and I don't, but this is just like where my mind goes to is like the computers, like the calibration slowly drifts over time. And so the centering gets like progressively like worse and worse and worse. So I don't know, like maybe they like had to change the computers, had to like recalibrate the machines or whatever. But like, I feel like I haven't seen quality on English this good since like Crown Zenith. You know what I mean? So it's like nice rounded corners, no like, you know, whitening with the sort of like weird jagged sort of like octagon sort of cuts in the corners or whatever. Like things are looking good now. So hopefully with the new print facility, English isn't like PSA 7 out of pack anymore, but we'll see what happens.
What do you think of this Charizard UPC compared to like the original, the Sword and Shield one? Because I don't like the promos in this one. I like the promos in the Sword and Shield one way better. But the pack selection and like the playmat, the deck box, the coin, all of that other stuff is so much better in this one. So I'm torn on how it'll do. I think it'll do well long term, but will it do better than the Sword and Shield one?
I don't know. The pack selection is really good. I agree with you there. What do you think, Dan?
I think one thing that like is just going to potentially embody this era, like if and when the new printers come online and they don't go back far enough. They forget about Prismatic, they forget about Destined, I Lose the Bet, all that stuff. Like for this to truly outperform, it's like you have to be fair about it. Like the Charizard UPC, the 151 UPC, you could get those for like $80. You could get as many as you wanted for like $80 a piece. So that's actually one question that I was going to ask you guys too. Like right now, what are we at? 150, 140, somewhere in there. What do you guys think the bottom of this will be? And then if and when the bottom's only MSRP, like say it's 120, well, dollar for dollar, you're getting 33% less, right? Or no, you're getting 50% less. If you were buying the old one at 80 versus buying this one at 120, you're getting 50% less of them. So like dollar for dollar, I like the old ones better just partially because they went down to 80. I think they'll age better overall just because generally it was a little bit lower print runs at the time, a little bit less like investory at the time. But my strategy for these, like when I got my first wave, I knew wave 2 was coming. So like wave 1 all got broken down, they all got sold in the live stream, they all got ripped, whatever, they all got like torn down. And then wave 2, I'm gonna set a couple back from wave 2, 4 cases maybe, nothing crazy, because wave 2, I think more waves will come. Maybe they won't come to me, but it sounds like Costco, it sounds like Target, Walmart, wherever, it sounds like they're gonna get them, which will have an effect on the pricing. I never do anything all at once. So it's like, I'm not going to wait for 80 and then drop 50 grand on them. I'm probably going to like, hey, if they get to 120, I'll buy 10 or 20 cases. Then if they get to 100, I'll buy 10 or 20 more. Then if they get to 80, I'll buy a bunch more. But yeah, what are your guys like overall strategy on the Zard UPC? Do you have any already? I probably have 4 cases that like came from wave 2 that I'm not going to touch yet. I'm going to set them back in case they run away from here. But I truly, my price target, I think they'll be available at 100. But just in case, I'm going to hedge my bet, buy some at 120. And then if and when 100 doesn't come, it's like, I've got more. But yeah, what are you guys' price targets? Do you have any setback yet? What are your thoughts on that whole like play?
I was a dummy and didn't realize, because with one of my distributors, you can go to your like portal and see what your allocations are for products. And so when I looked at the Charizard UPC, when they finalized the numbers, I saw that I was getting whatever 48 of them, but I didn't see anything else. And so I figured, okay, there maybe there's not a wave 2, or I'm just not getting a wave 2. So I set 1 case back and then broke everything down, sold everything. But then I just got another 54 of them or something. So I'll set another few cases back with this release. So that'll be kind of nice. That was a little nice surprise. And then I did finally find out where you see the second wave of products as well. So I'm no longer a dummy. Which is a good thing. But yeah, I'll definitely set back a few cases of the Charizard UBCs. I don't think I'll do a ton of these ones, but definitely like you 2, 4, something like that. But yeah, that's kind of my strategy.
What is distro pricing on those? It's like $70, $75.
I was just gonna look.
75 or 80.
I thought it was less than that, but maybe it's not. I'll double check. I just got some, so I'll tell you exactly what I just paid. And I'll look at wave. So wave 2, it's like I paid 75. It's 302 per case basically. I paid 75.50 or whatever. And then I'll look at the same distro wave 1 and see if it's different.
I don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I think that the waves, they have to keep it. I don't know how it works. Don't they have to keep it the same price?
I don't think they have to do anything, but I think they do. I think it was the same. I'm gonna try to verify.
Yeah, I don't have any setback. I think actually shout out to Jodo Jake. I think he sent Josh and I a text with like a link. I don't know if I think it was actually Pokemon Center, but they were up for a while. I haven't been on Pokemon Center in, I don't know, maybe over a year now, just because, like what are you gonna get? But he sent the link, and I clicked into it, and I was able to snag one, and I opened it. Like I opened it just to see if like the promos were gradable and stuff like that, and you know, like open some of the packs to see if I could get anything to grade or whatever. But I think I don't know, if they get down like around like 100, I would definitely like to buy a decent amount of them. The only thing that sucks is they take up so much space. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to put like 100 of those away, like that's a decent amount of space versus like what you could sink that value into with like just buying booster boxes. So I'm actually, I put a buy post out yesterday on Instagram. Now that like the wave 2 has hit of Phantasmal, I'm trying to like buy more cases. Market's at like 12-ish hundred, so I've been kind of like offering people like 1100 shipped, and I've been getting like a good amount of bites on that. So I think maybe like if I was going to go heavier on something, if it dropped more, I'd probably go more in on the booster boxes. But I like the product. I think the Mega Charizard is cool, and like mainly it's just the pack selection. Like the pack selection inside is really good, so I think people are going to want that in the future for sure. And I think so many of these are going to be broken down 4-packs, you know, like live streaming is so much bigger now than it was back when that first Charizard UPC came out. So I think most of the people that are getting these are probably breaking them down to get the packs out of them. And what's funny is like distribution is only taking applications for breakers and brick and mortar, which is hilarious to me. They won't take online retailers, but they'll take breakers. So breakers are getting distribution. So what are breakers? Probably aren't investing in it. They're probably breaking it down, you know what I mean, and getting the packs out of it. So maybe that helps with attrition too. I think it looks nice too. Like it seems like a good quality product. So like I don't know. Maybe that's just like subjective more than like, yeah, like it looks nice, and like when you open it, it seems like a more premium product. So yeah, we'll see how it goes in the future. But I like Phantasmal as a set. I think that Charizard's really nice, and like if Obsidian Flames can do what it's done, this set can definitely, because like I don't and again it's subjective, but like I don't personally care for like that Zard art nearly as much as the one that's in Phantasmal. So I think it's gonna age a lot better. And I think it's a small set and the Zard's too easy to put, like I think that's all just kind of noise. I don't really think that's gonna matter like 2-3 years down the road. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so Tyler won. Just to fully verify, I did get my wave 1 invoice, my wave 2 invoice. I paid the same exact amount for and I got 5 cases on first pass from this one distro and 5 cases on the second pass from this distro. That's one guy, one account, one distro. To like, there could be other people where their wave 1, wave 2 prices are slightly different. Like, just because it happens once, consistently inconsistent, doesn't just apply to PSA. It applies to distributors. It applies to different sales reps, different accounts. But that's my anecdote. One thing that I've talked about before, and it kind of surprises me. Again, we have a disconnect between our thoughts, me and you, Retro, on like Destined Rivals, short, mid, long term. Not necessarily long term. Long term, we're probably pretty aligned, but like more short, mid term, months and year or two. But are you doing much with like SV1 through SV4? Are you doing much with like Sword Shield booster cases? Because it truly surprises me. Like I bust Greenie's chops. That was a few episodes ago. Nick probably remembers. I busted Greenie's chops because like he was going not all in, but he was buying a lot of Phantasmal Flames like at like launch, and I just think that's going to age pretty poorly relative to other things.
I mean, dude, I bought I did too. I bought I got the one case through like Eli, like being in his group, so I got that for distro pricing or whatever. But I bought Winona's allocation, which I think was like 4 cases, and I think I paid like $6,000 or something. So I paid like $1,500 a case. Now obviously like it's come down, so like I'm trying to buy more at 1,100. But like most of what I have is Sword and Shield. I went heavy on 151 and I went heavy on Prismatic. But I don't have any like Paldea Evolved or like any of those sets really. Like I tried to set pick more with Scarlet and Violet rather than buy a little bit of everything. Like I just picked the good specialty sets, and then Surging Sparks, because Surging Sparks got really cheap and people were just dumping cases for like $900, $1,000, and I was like, yeah, like I'll buy that all day. But yeah, I mean, I most of what I have is Sword and Shield, and I haven't like sold any of it, so like I'm still confident in that stuff. But I don't know, like I like the product, and yeah, I don't know, like I don't disagree with you that at some point things are gonna like normalize and products gonna be more available, and like we're already kind of starting to see that with stuff coming out slightly cheaper, but I don't know. I'm also here for like the long term, so I'm not worried about it. And like Destined, I guess I got lucky on because I paid like a little over 200 a box on that, but I haven't bought any since then. Like now that it's like 400 or whatever it's at, like I haven't like doubled down and bought cases at like 2,400. And maybe I'll look like an idiot because maybe it goes to 1,000 in 2 years, and then I'm like kicking myself for not having a bigger position.
And it truly could, yeah.
Yeah, it's but I don't know, like I'll probably make a video like going more into depth on it, but like it really, it's funny to me that people think they're like they've solved like the macro, like they're just like a macro genius when they're like Pokemon's correlated to the stock market or Pokemon's correlated to Bitcoin. And it's like, you guys are so zoomed in. Pokemon is not correlated to crypto. Pokemon, crypto, and the stock market are correlated to global liquidity. And you can see literally, like if you you can literally do this in Chat GPT. Go plot Bitcoin's price against, X booster box from Pokemon and when the government shutdown happened. It's like the close. It's like, I don't know, like your R squared is probably like 97% or something. Like it is such a close correlation. Like all of this stuff is one giant trade. It's all correlated to M2 global money supply. Like it's all a function of liquidity. People take more risk when they have more money. When people are working, when people are receiving a paycheck, when like money printer go burr, they're spending money. Consumers are consuming and investors are investing, which is why when people don't receive a paycheck, 15% of the country doesn't receive a paycheck for a month, booster box prices fall because people are selling and people aren't consuming at the same clip. And risk assets that are way out on the risk curve, like crypto, are going to see a drawdown. So like, it's funny to me that like people try to get all these like rules of thumb. It's like all this is just a function of liquidity. If people aren't working, they're not going to buy. Like if unemployment spikes, Pokemon probably isn't going to come out at the same price. It's not to say that there won't be like good liquidity and the market's going to die or anything like that, but all of this stuff, and like that's been my like thesis, which is why when we were like absolutely ripping and liquidity was ripping and the market's ripping, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm going to buy Destined Rivals. It doesn't feel good to have to buy boxes above $200 when they used to be like $80, but we're not in like the same time period anymore. And I remember people, like a lot of like traditional crunchy sort of like value investors are very like focused on PE ratio and CAPE ratio. And I think part of what they miss is over the past 5 years, due to things like Robinhood and social media and finance influencers, more people are financialized than ever before. And the numbers reflect that. Like more people own stocks than ever before in history. And it's not a linear growth curve at all. Like it is very exponential because of what's happened, because of like the accessibility that things like Robinhood have provided. So traditionally, if like the S&P, the mean is like an 18 PE ratio and now it's 20, that to me doesn't mean that it's going to like revert to the mean. It's like, well, more people are chasing the same amount of assets. So it makes sense that the asset price would be more expensive. And it's the same thing with Pokemon. It's like if supply stays the same, if it stays static, but the demand curve shifts drastically to the right, it makes sense that prices are going to go up and people are going to pay more than historically they have been paying because more people are chasing the same amount or fewer assets. So that's kind of like my view on it. But I'm not going to lie and say like, oh yeah, like I love paying 200 a booster box. Like, no, I'd love it to go to $100 or $80. Like I can't, at least with Destined, like I can't see that happening. And even with Phantasmal, like I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe it drops to $150 or something like that. But like at 1,100 a case, I'm like, yeah, cool. And ultimately in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I'll probably be happy that I had it. Like, I'd rather have it and have overpaid a little bit than not have it at all and watch it run away on me. Like, that's just kind of how I'm wired. So that was a lot of but hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm fully aware. Like I think, and obviously you know this because I took the other side of the bet. Like I think you're a little crazy having stocked up on someone you did. I think Ern talked about it some. Shout out to him. I know Greeny talked about it some. I make the joke too. It's like, man, if Retro, if Ern, if Greeny, if all these guys are investing at $1,200 cases, like I won't ever be right. Like you guys will ensure that I'm wrong. But hey, I got $100+ million investment behind me on my side. So we'll see what wins out. But it truly is like, we don't really know. And Retro, I kind of know, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about your situation. Like you're crushing, you're pretty liquid. You're putting in money that you can afford to sit on for some amount of time. And the thing where I really start like, yikes, is when I have a consult and it's somebody with like, hey, they're doing a business and they're investing when they don't have the liquidity to buy all the options afforded to them. Like they're going broke investing in product for 5 years from now, when day to day they don't have the capital to buy the raw gradable cards and grade them, and to buy the collections at 80% and sell them for 100%. Like if you're handicapping your business, it's a double whammy, because it's like, hey, your Destined Rivals went down, or your Phantasmal Flames went down 10%, and you passed on 20 grand to profit you could have made arbitraging that money in the interim. So yeah, again, it's like not something I worry about with you, but it's something that like some people actively do. And time versus capital, everyone's at a different spot. Everyone's got different game they're playing.
And it's different. It's different. Wait, do I right? I like it. I like it. It's different for me and you because we're buying from distro, but I've started sending more cases back. Like I do wait for wave 2, like Mega Evolution. I wait for wave 2. Phantasmal, I wait for wave 2. But I'm setting 8 cases back now. Even though the pricing is high, I just where we're getting it to them through distro, I'm just not convinced we're gonna be able to get booster box cases again. So yeah, I'm even starting to set more back.
And that's something I talked about too, is like, I might be right and win the bet. And if and when it happens, I'll have to go back. I'll have to find timestamps to convince Retro. But on my side, like the bet was always about packs. I am way more confident in packs. I had somebody talking to one of my bigger consigners. They do a little bit of investing. They were talking to me specifically about like prismatic ETB cases. So prismatic per pack, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 10 months ago, all year I've had the same like sentiment. I need it. I'm buying it always because I need it for the streams. It's our most ripped set all year. So I'm like bullish on prismatic. We rip a lot of it for the streams. I need it in stock. But like I was paying $11-12 a pack back in February. I was trying to keep a very lean inventory because I was paying so much. And as it's gone down, like every dollar that it's gone down, I've tried to increase. Like right now I might have 8,000 packs of prismatic, which might be a few months worth of inventory for the streams. But I think it's going to go lower. I could be wrong. So it's like, if it goes $1 lower, I'll add a couple thousand packs to my base. I'll do replacement rate. I'll keep up with that. And then I'll add a couple thousand packs to my base. If and when it goes to $5-6 a pack, like I'll just increase that base, right? That's what I did with Crown Zenith. That's what I did with 151. But there's a world where the boxes never go below 200, but the packs go down to $4 a pack. But like, I think a lot of people realize it, but I think some people don't see that as a possibility whatsoever. Like a pack being 4 equates to a $144 booster box. I promise you that there could be a world where packs are 4 on the open market. I'm not saying me paying 4. I'm saying me paying $350 or something like that. Packs of prismatic could be 4, 5, and ETBs could be $100 an ETB because they just never reprinted the ETB. They never reprinted the case of ETBs. Or you could even have where packs are 5. Say packs are 5, ETBs are 100, and ETB cases are 1,500. Because like they might only do ETBs through Costco. They might only do ETBs through Target, one-off, onesie twosies, no cases. So and that's again hedging my bets. I set back 4 cases of every set because I just don't know. Cases could run, and I think I have 6 cases of prismatic ETBs that the packs are down, way down. From the time that I put those on a pallet, I want to say packs are down 40% from 11 to 7 or so, or 8 or whatever they are. And the ETBs are up. The ETB cases are up 10% or something because they're two different products. Yeah. I think about it from time to time, but not all the time for sure.
He
we have a
wakes
couple
up
questions.
at night having nightmares about losing the bet. He wakes up in a cold sweat.
A couple, so Galaxy, a couple just comments I'll take, and then I'll pivot us into a couple themed questions that are in the same vein. So Galaxy 7, love the new business series. Retro, please make more. I teased Retro. I think it was before we went live, but shout out to the Off-Center podcast with our friends over there. You got Thrifty, you got Mason, you got Squeaks, you got Radar. But I teased Retro a little bit. Him and Radar are in a competition, being the most inconsistent. Hey guys, I'm back. Hey guys, I'm gonna make regular content, and then they vanish. So Retro and John are both coming back like in the same time frame. We'll see who wins. Put your bets in the chat. Is Retro's consistent content going to outlast Radar's, or I love both your guys' content so much, but both of your content, all the ebbs and flows of it over the past few years, has been some of my favorite consistently. It's just been the most consistently favorite content out there. So hopefully we're blessed with a bountiful 2026 with Pokemon prices, with Retro and Radar content.
In March, I'm driving up to Radar's store, and we're gonna do a live stream. Both of us are leaving YouTube forever.
Oh man, please don't. We're here for a good time, not for a long time. With respect to your content, hopefully a good time and a long time, but we'll see. Pokeflips, it's like it may not be the best, it may not be the most amazing, but we're gonna be here whether you want it or not. We're going for our decade anniversary. We're almost halfway there in March, so I did see this comment. I saw your story the other day. I think you have some investments in cat, but yeah, Zorner, when we were talking about 1 million square foot facilities, he talked about the cat facility being 2.5 million square feet, and that's for like big industrial equipment that literally moves the earth. Just to reference how big like 1 million square foot of space is.
That's wild.
Here's a shout out from Winona. Shout out to the sales tax exemptions. If you want to work with Retro, you have to have it. But here's an anecdote. Sales tax exemption was a one-time $80 purchase for me 3.5 years ago. In addition to just enabling way more plays, has saved me minimally a high five-figure amount. I believe it was $35 if my memory serves me. I think it was $35 to do the paperwork at my county building in New York 12 years ago at this point, predating Pokemon. 12, 13 years ago, I registered as I got a DBA for $35, and I got a sales tax resale certificate in New York. I want to say it was $35 each. $70 that compounded into like the return on that investment, if you want to call it that. 8 figures plus in total sales since that little purchase made. So legitimize, do things right, buy some wholesale Japanese for Retro.
Winona's in Washington too, and like it's different, you know, based on like your zip code or whatever. But like sales tax here is high; it's like 8+%. You know what I mean? So like that's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money at scale. Mm-hmm. So if you could pay $80 one time to save yourself 8% on like everything you're, I mean, dude, like why would you not do that? You know what I mean?
It's insane how many people. And I made my ranting red light video a couple months ago. Just I'm usually on the fence. I'm usually very cautious. I was calling people Timmies. I was calling people dumb. I'm like, just legitimize dummies. And actually the amount of people that messaged me and said like, hey Dan, that was the wake up call that I needed. And now they're registered. Maybe they're buying a little bit of wholesale Japanese from Retro. I actually had several people say like, Dan, thank you for that video. That was one of my more favorite videos that I made. But here's like a two people. I'm familiar with the logo, not familiar with the handle, but I think we know who this is. When will Retro hire employees so he can take a day off? And then UAP also wanted to know, like, why not hire a streamer Retro? Both on the topic of like employees, any conversation around that Retro, any plans upcoming?
Yeah, Master Set's got me out here working on some sweatshops. No, Sam's the man for sure. It's super easy to deal with. Definitely go check out Master Set Games on Whatnot. super reputable guys. And again, like kind of going to what we were talking about earlier with like the sales tax, like when you deal with people like at a certain level, like there's no BS. Like they do good business every time. They're reliable. So yeah, it's nice to deal with people like that. I am, so like I have my I have my mom, like I live way out in the woods, like way out in the woods, right? So like and I have like a detached shop that I built, but internet out here sucks, and like it's not feasible to like stick somebody out in the shop and have them like fulfill orders or anything like that. So like everything needs to be done in the house. So like I don't want like somebody in my house, I guess. It would have to be like a basement or something with a separate entrance or something like that, which I don't have. So like right now on Mondays, because I have like work I have to do on Mondays, and obviously there's all the orders from the weekend. So right now I have my mom actually coming over on Mondays, and I'm paying her to do like shipping and fulfillment for me on Monday mornings. And I'm trying to hire for like some other stuff that I do to like free up my time a little bit. And then with streaming, I actually asked Josh if he would want to stream for me on eBay Live. We'll see if that pans out or whatever. But like I'm thinking about it. I would buy somebody's stream honestly just to get like access to distro at this point. Like I would buy a stream and I don't want like anything to do with it. Like I don't have time to manage it. I just let people continue rocking the way they are. I just want to be able to say like I have a stream so I can get distro access. It sucks, man. Like no amount of sales or positive feedback on eBay or like contracts with Walmart, like none of that matters. Like if they don't see that you have a brick and mortar or are running a stream, it's just like a flat no right now from like most of the people that have responded to me, which is like a huge bummer. But again, it's like why I need to get like on YouTube and put myself out there more. And yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely thinking about it for sure. If I could have somebody just like sort of do it autonomous, like I don't have the time to like sit and source for a stream or like manage a stream. But if somebody could do that on their own and they just want like like I could definitely get eBay to like let me do eBay Live. And I think Walmart is actually going to start rolling out live streaming next year too. So like that might be an opportunity, but I'd be willing to put somebody on for sure. I would want them to like run that like as a siloed sort of operation, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Familial employees are nice. I think you mentioned you have your girlfriend help pack orders from time to time too, right?
Yeah, I mean she's got like a really good like full-time job now, so she can't help as much. She was like in between careers, like sort of shopping around because she had like some pretty good options open to her, but like now she works full time, so like not as much. So I was like, all right, and I'm really trying to scale direct to consumer with like the booster boxes on like eBay and Walmart. Like that's been ripping. So like I really need to have somebody packing orders because like the bigger and bigger that gets, like I can't be packing boxes, like that's a lot. So
yeah, I've finally this year transitioned to like fully business to business. I'm packing up boxes to streamers. Basically, I'm packing up boxes to send to consignment services or whatever, but I'm not handling any of the customer service or that final part. And I watched your thing last night. Shout out to, again, I linked your Instagram, but I didn't link your YouTube. I should have linked that in there. But
you just didn't believe in his YouTube enough.
I was worried it would be blank again someday. But yeah, you did the like, I forget what you called it, but almost like a business audit, outside looking in, like a consult live on YouTube with Danazard. And you talked about what he had going on. And you talked about like, hey, you're fulfilling $1.99, $2.99 things, and think of bigger ways to handle bigger business. Like even if it's at a lower margin, it's like I'd rather make a 5% margin of $1 million than make a 50% margin of 50,000, right? So yeah, definitely something to be said for scale and all that stuff. And
well, scale provides you like leverage too. You know what I mean? Like like if you're trying to get like a contracted rate, or you're trying to get like a platform to let you sell on there or whatever, they're not going to be like, oh well, what percentage are you netting? they don't care. They care about your gross.
Yeah.
They care about like how much money you're gonna make them. So they're not like, oh well, yeah, but like, are you making are you making more than this guy? Like they don't care about any of that. Like scale begets scale. So yeah, being able to do like big numbers definitely like gives you more opportunities for sure.
Yep. Yeah, they care about GMV because they have people they have to report to, and they make some percentage of their total handle. And obviously with like they have, say they have two people, say they have Probstein selling 100 million, and say they have a million people selling $100 each. Well, they make more money overall from the million people selling $100 each because they have 13% fees, and Probstein probably only has 2% fees or whatever. But like added customer service, added all that stuff, they definitely value volume to the extent that they will, yeah, as you said, scale begets scale. You unlock lower limits. You unlock it on both sides too. A lot of times it's like a dual-sided win. You're able to like scale your buying more and maybe get more advantageous deals on that side, and then on the selling side, you're able to get like a lower frictional fee. So you're winning on two sides of it, as long as you can scale into it.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one. So here's a two-part question about like the print facility thing. Honestly, 34 says, not saying this facility will bring this on, but do you see Pokemon having a junk wax era like in baseball where the prices will never recover? Like you said, Pokemon card values already survived substantial increases in printing between eras. Where did things go wrong with baseball cards, and will this be avoided in Pokemon? Whoever wants to take that first.
I don't see it at all.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go first.
I was just gonna say, like, it's not a one-to-one comparison. Like the baseball cards that got printed during the junk wax era had no rarity. You opened a box, you got the entire set. There was no rarity, there were no chases, there was no serialization. The companies and every single company, like you had Fleer, Topps, Upper Deck, Score, all printing all the same players. The cards maybe look slightly different, but there was no chase, there was no rarity, there was nothing, and they got greedy and they printed a ton of it. Like that's not. It's not a one-to-one comparison. Like I don't know. That's pretty much.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. The having a complete set that you could go buy just absolutely destroyed it, and then having all those different companies competing against each other, just absolutely destroyed it. Plus the normal. Pikachu's never going to do steroids. Squirtle's never going to get a DUI. All that stuff. Whereas sports cards, people come and go. They get forgotten about. Pokemon's not going to have that.
I'll take it from a slightly different way too. I think some people don't realize this, but like Pokemon truly could. They could print themselves to death. I think for many reasons, I think they won't. But they could. Like they printed 12 billion cards last year. If somehow they flipped a switch and they could have printed 100 billion cards, 200 billion, I don't know what the number is. Maybe they would have had to print 1 trillion cards. But if everyone could have everything, no one would want it. It would be a vicious cycle where like there's too much product, demand goes down, that more product comes out because more people sell. So Pokemon could print itself to zero. But here's why I'm confident they won't. One, it's a very profitable business. I think they're very good at like gauging demand, and they did it once. They almost printed themselves to death. Pokemon almost died in the mid 2000s somewhere. I wasn't around then. Most people weren't. That's why this was the case. But like base set boxes went to $30. Jungle Fossil boxes went to $30. And newest sets were 90. Old sets, original sets were $30. Pokemon has seen that. Pokemon saw what sports did. So they know what they went through. They know what sports went through. And they're just going to navigate it better than they have in the past, in my opinion. I think they're very smart. I think they're way too smart to do that. And combined with the fact that like they're putting hundreds of millions of dollars into a new print facility, physically today, it feels like they can't do it. But another angle too is like, say they did. Sports came out the other side. Pokemon saw how sports survived, and they don't have the Fleer, Donruss, Upper Deck. They don't have that complexity. They have it all in-house. So if and when they see the warning signs, they'll pull back. I think they're smart. They'll pull back. And then if and when needed, ace in the hole, they'll pull out the serialization. they'll pull out like whatever they need to do to keep it going. So they saw that serialization saves sports. Junk card wax era, a lot of people lost a lot of money. The industry as a whole like could have gone away, but they innovated their way out of it. So Pokemon has the blueprints for how to innovate their way out of any kind of an overprinting scenario, and they will use those tools if and when needed. I'm as confident as I can be. So again, bullish. I feel really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it does scare me when like, oh hey no, like gray felt hat is too good. It's always gonna be worth something. Like, no, if they print the new print facility, if they literally print 1 billion gray felt hats, like they could, they're Pokemon, they own it. Maybe Van Gogh, maybe they need to like renegotiate contract terms, whatever. But like if Pokemon printed 1 billion gray felt hats, I promise that card is going to be worth almost nothing. If they print 1 billion Moonbryons, like that's getting very dramatic with it. That's taking like very hyperbolic or whatever, but that demonstrates the point that like any of these things, the intrinsic value is 0, and they will approach their intrinsic value if and when they're substantially overprinted.
Well, I think too, to like your point about like them like not making the same mistakes, like I think we can all agree like early Scarlet and Violet was not a junk wax era. Right. And like late Sword and Shield was not a junk wax era, but the numbers reflect that they cut printing like 10% or whatever it was, going from, 2023 to 2024. And they weren't anywhere near a junk wax era. Maybe popularity fell off because people weren't into like the new generation of Pokemon, and that's what they usually put in the base sets or whatever. But they saw like just the correction from things coming off the panorama highs and adjusted 10% print capacity just based off of that. So I think that speaks volumes to them valuing their brand. And I think things got like underpriced for a while. Like I agree with like Rudy when he says things are like repricing. I don't think that boxes ever should have been $80. And I think that's why they pulled back, was because they were like, okay, well, we want stores to make money. We want, secondary market people to be able to make money. If they're buying stuff from distributor at 80, they need to be able to sell it for like 120 or MSRP or whatever. So I don't know. I'm pretty confident in them moving forward, making the right decisions. I also think that like people have to remember they're a Japanese company, and Japanese companies traditionally move very slow. They're very methodical. And I can't think of a single example where a Japanese company has like oversupplied itself out of existence, because another thing about just Japan in general is space is a huge consideration. So they're very minimalist, like being not like greedy, but like, or I'm trying to think of a less offensive word than like gluttonous or whatever, but like being like, that it's just not a part of the culture. Like oversupply, overconsumption is not a part of the culture. So I think that maybe factors into some of the decisions that they make too. But I don't know, maybe that's getting a little too galaxy brain with it.
Yeah, really good point you made about like I thought a lot of people were like, well, some amount of people when the print numbers came out last year, like this past June they came out for the prior year. Some people were like, Pokemon printed less, what are they doing? But when you put yourself in the frame that like only 6-12 months prior to that, every box SV1 through SV4 was available under 100. It was good that like Pokemon was monitoring the secondary market. Pokemon was monitoring like their feedback from their distributors having pallets and pallets of product in stock, and they were already starting to pull back. They were already pulling back the reins on production some then. So like just further evidence that like I think Pokemon is smart. I think they're paying attention. They've got their ear to the ground on everything secondary market wise. So I think they're a very good steward of this IP, and I feel very confident in all the investments that I make, all the speculations that I make in the space. For sure.
Did you just call them investments?
I use the vernacular.
Wow.
I've been using that for, I know you don't watch my videos, but I've been using that for like a year and a half now. I gave into the vernacular of the space, but to me, they're still speculations. But I use the word investment.
I just picked up on that. Mind blown over here.
I've been See, Nick has been sleeping on Pokeflips because I've definitely been saying investing on Pokeflips for the past 12, 18 months. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, to me, we're not gonna rehash the whole investment versus speculation. To me, all this is speculation. My pallets are speculations, but like I use the word of the
No,
space.
you just said investments. You can't take it back now.
As defined by the space investments, yes. Krabby's Cards wants to know, what business leg of Pokemon do you each believe has the lowest barrier to entry for someone starting new? I think like bulk. I think it's just so easy to like buy bulk collections at X% or a few cents a card and then sort out the playables and sort out things and sell them for 99 cents a piece or whatever amount in TCG Player eBay. I think it's lowest barrier to entry because like capital is low. I think the knowledge base doesn't need to be extremely high either. I think you could get by just looking up like TCG Player hard to keep stock cards, look up the recent decks that have won tournaments or whatever. So I think like bulk is low barrier to entry from risk, from capital, from knowledge, experience, all that stuff. I think that's probably the easiest one to step into. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would say that, or just catching like the Walmart drops and Target drops and reselling the packs to a streamer. One of those two.
I think with GameStop now, it might be grading because you can go in and grade like one card without a membership. Like it's, you could go to a card show, find a gradable card, take it straight to GameStop and grade it for like $20, wait for it to come back. And then I don't know if you can have GameStop send them to the PSA vault, but I mean, you could send them to Dan, you could send them to James, if you don't want to sell it yourself. So I think that they've definitely lowered the barrier to entry to grading for sure. So yeah, I would go with grading.
It's definitely a lot lower than it used to be. 10 years ago, it was so much more daunting. Still, like adding in the months of time, adding in like all the uncertainty, like it's scarier outside looking in. Bulk, you can literally go to Facebook Marketplace, you can buy a collection, you can have them listed that night on eBay, you can make your first sale within 24 hours. And then risk too, like you can go buy an alt art at a local show thinking it's going to be a black label. 6 months later, you pay your $15, $20 PSA bill through GameStop, and it's like you got a 7. And like risk wise, I just think the barrier to entry is a little bit higher. But it's the barrier to entry. Like 10 years ago to today, what has the barrier to entry lowered the most on? I would say grading by far. Like it is insane how much easier it's gotten. Krabby's Cards wants to know, how do you keep track of cost basis when you buy packs for 8 and 15 the next time and 10 after that? Can you sell the more expensive ones at a loss on stream when the market dips? So I'll give my piece very quickly. I have 10,000 packs of 151 in stock. Some of them I paid $4 for. Some I paid $5, $6, $8, $10, $12. Every price point everywhere. Like I promise you, I do not have a spreadsheet that like shows you 12,000 rows and it's every price, every date that I paid for all 12,000 packs. Theoretically, you could. Theoretically, you could go first in, first out, last in, first out. Like there are multiple bookkeeping methods that are acceptable to the IRS. But like, what do I do in practice? I kind of wing it. I kind of estimate it. I do my year-end inventory at the end of the year. I'm accrual basis, so I need to actually do that. The pallets are easy. The cases are easy. Here's the date. Here's the price. Here's my initial distro cost, whatever. But packs, it's like I eyeball it. Hey, 10,000 packs at 151. I paid $6, $7 an average, something like that. And then I go from there. What do you guys do with respect to that? Or are you cash basis and you just don't care about any of it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it'd be I've always said I'd love to keep better track of stuff, like buy one collection, have like an inventory code, sell that whole collection, but it's just way too much to do now. That's one of the nice things. Like when you're starting, you can have an Excel sheet with an entire collection and actually keep track of it. But as you grow and start selling more and more, it just becomes impossible to keep track of it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Like, I'll put like some stuff I'll put into an Excel sheet, but for the mostly the stuff that I'm putting into an Excel sheet is stuff that I'm not going to list, like, because I need to be able to, like, I don't want to have to go through and count inventory I have to do that here. Like, I have to come up with inventory for the end of the year for my accountant, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I've been doing a pretty good job of like keeping track of my buys. Like, oh, I bought like a case here, I bought these bundles here. But everything else is just in versus out anyways at the end of the year. So if like you're going to turn around and sell them and they're not going to go to long-term inventory, then like it doesn't really matter if you're doing things right and you have everything in a separate bank account. So make sure you got a separate business bank account and you'll make your life a lot easier.
Why not use barcodes, Dan? I have no interest in slapping on 10,000 barcodes just for my 151 packs. Yeah. At one point, I had 100,000 packs. I'm down to about 60, 70,000 packs now, which I'm kind of cozy at. I think I'm going to hang out here for a while. But yeah, just no interest in that whatsoever. It could theoretically be done, but I'm not about to do it. Oh, you can use the ones on there from before. I mean, booster packs do have individual barcodes, don't they? But they're not unique barcodes. So it's like I have 10,151 packs all with the same UPC on them. So that doesn't do anything. It's just a lot of estimating goes into my year-end inventory. It's close. It's plus or minus X%, which is acceptable. I've had that conversation with my accountant. So we got that one. Pokey South said, haven't been in a live in a while. Question for Dan and Nick. Are the streams still printy? Nick, are you still printing over there?
We're still printing over here. No, they've been going really well still. I will say there is it is kind of surprising. We've been doing the daily deals through the month of December, and they are definitely really good buys. But last year was the first year we did it, and they did well enough to continue and expand upon that for this year. But then this year we've been selling out of almost every single daily deal, which is, so those have been going really, really well. And I have, aside from that, I have noticed like it is slowing down a little bit in terms of like the number of packs being opened every night. People even like the auctions have slowed down a little bit. But overall, it's been very, very good. And I do think a big part of that is this is an expensive time of year for people, with Christmas and all the holidays and all that stuff. So I do think it is to be expected to slow down a little bit. But yeah, overall, really, really good. And I've been happy with how things are going.
And then Retro, you don't directly have any streams yourself, but like you talked earlier about supplying some very large live streamers. So like you're not internal to them, but you're sourcing them, one of their primary sources. What are your buyers still printing? Does it feel based on their order volume, all that stuff? You have insight on this, even though you're not directly streaming.
Yeah, he's printing very, very, very hard. I'm sure like he is crushing, dude. Like oh man, it's like I want to be you when I grow up type thing. Like he's killing it for sure. And you know, like I have like a local guy that wants at a smaller scale, but he's pretty big on whatnot too. And I just don't have enough time. Like I'm turning down money because like I don't have time to fulfill, but like he wants singles too. And all these guys have like the craziest operations. Like I think Master Set, he has like a facility where like everybody goes to, like it's the shipping is all in one place, the streaming is all in one place, like everything is in this like one building. And I'm like, dude, that is so gangster. Like like he's literally running like a compound. Like it's crazy because like if you walked up to somebody, and I know people have talked about this before with like, oh, you know, you talk to the average person, they're like, you're nuts to invest in Pokemon or whatever. But like if a person, you know, you're at a party or something, they're like, oh, like what do you do? And you're like, oh, well, I auction Pokemon cards off on a live stream platform. They'd be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, is that even a job? Like, that's crazy. Like, or like I open packs for people like on a live. They'd be like, what? That's nuts. And then you see the scale that some of these people's businesses are, and it's like, whoa, it's really like, it's like going through the wardrobe in Narnia or something. It's this whole other world, you know what I mean, that you don't know that exists until you go through it, and then you see it and you're like, whoa. Like, you go to your first Collecticon and you see like how many people are there, like how big. I mean, dude, like we joked about like Jason Page and stuff like that, but every single Collecticon you go to, people are lined up when he sings the Pokemon. Like, they are still hyped 5 years later to listen to him sing the song. Hundreds, if not thousands of people gathered in front of the stage to listen to that song. So I don't know how that can't make you like positive on the industry, because people are still like really enjoying it. Like, it's big. It's a lot crazier than I think a lot of people give it credit for. So it's cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
We bullish. I just had that interaction again on Monday. I've had that interaction periodically, friends, family, or even just like people that I'm meeting for the first time. But I was at Cub Scouts with my son. One of his fellow scouts in our den, their kid is in my wife's class, and I'm always sending like the extra lunchbox tins, extra empty tins, extra play mats, extra pins, coins, all different kinds of things, jumbos, booster packs. She gives them as like prizes to the kids sometimes. Sometimes she has such a backlog, she's just like, hey kids, anyone that wants a lunchbox, like, come take them. Well, one of the parents came up to me and they're like, hey, you're my son's teacher's husband, right? And I'm like, yep. What do you do for a living? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm full-time in Pokemon, like buying it. And they're like, yeah, but like, how do you always, like, how is little Johnny coming home with so many of these lunchbox tins and so many of this and that? And it kind of spawned like a little conversation with a few parents, like, oh, I can't find that stuff. And initially, vibes from one of them, I kind of felt like, oh no, they're gonna like call me a scalper. They're gonna call me. It's like, hey guys, I've been doing this for 11 years. I have wholesale. I never set foot into a Walmart or a Target with like, I never buy stuff from retail like that. So at first I thought the conversation was gonna take a bad turn, but there was a lot of interest in like what do you actually do? What are you buying and selling? Like, oh, I think I have cards in my closet somewhere from when I was younger, and it really is like, it's crazy how ubiquitous to us it all is, how we take for granted, like the average public perception or knowledge of the space is near nil. Like we take for granted how much specialized information and knowledge we have, experience in the space. And not to say like there's never going to be a world where you walk on the street and like everyone, oh yeah, I was just in Whatnot, I was in eBay Live, I was in Fanatics Live last night. And you're never going to get 90% uptake on live stream product consumption, right? But I think, I don't know where the ceiling is, but I don't think we're there yet. I think the ceiling could be in front of us for sure.
It's funny. One of the I mean, she's gotten like a lot of heat, but like, I don't, maybe you're like familiar with Kathy Wood. Like she got a lot of heat during, like, you know, because she's very, very speculative investments and stuff like that. But I listened to her funds. They do a lot of talks, and dude, she was talking 6-7 years ago about not live streaming like Whatnot, but she called it social commerce. And she like basically said that like people would start interacting with each other in digital spaces, buying stuff. And she talked about it even like consume, which makes sense. Like, you know, like there's peer pressure or something. Like you go to the mall or something when you're a kid, and like all the cool kids are like buying these sneakers or something. And you're like, oh mom, like please get me those shoes. That's what all the cool kids are wearing. So like there's a little bit of that peer pressure maybe built in, but people being able to like interact, I don't think that, or at least like I didn't know, and it's a huge blind spot to me with like the streaming and stuff. But you hear about like people buying each other packs, or you know, in the live stream, or people like just hanging out and watching other people rip packs and like rooting for people, and it's like it builds this like social. I think people just want to be connected. I think the more the world becomes digital and divisive, and people are working from home more and more and all that kind of stuff, humans are like meant to be together. Humans are meant to like evolutionarily, you know, to take down some crazy like saber-toothed tiger thousands of years ago, you had to work together. So like there is something built into us. And I think that that's why, you know, the holidays, like they have that underlying feeling, like when you're getting together with people sharing a meal, there's probably something like tribal built into that. I know this is getting like super heady or whatever, but like I think there's something there. And I think that that's why things like Whatnot and eBay Live and Fanatics have taken off, because people are craving friendship. People are craving community, and even like Discord, you know, like Discord is massive. Like how many people are hanging out in Discords and like even in like YouTube live sections and stuff. Like people want to feel a part of a community. People want to feel connected to other people. And if you can do that with like Pokemon and at the same time buy and rip packs and stuff like that, I think it just makes sense. So I agree with Dan that I think it's going to get, teamwork gambling is hilarious, but I think it's just going to keep on getting bigger for sure. So,
and that is definitely a thing. There's people that come into our streams who don't buy anything. They haven't bought anything in years, but they still religiously come in almost every night. And it's turned into, instead of watching something on TV every night, they put the live stream on and hang out with everyone in there. You do actually build like a community of people who come in and hang out and just have a good time.
As always, we're going to be going for over an hour longer, probably heading towards 2 hours 45 or 3 hours. If anyone has any additional questions, feel free to ask them in chat. Walrus does have a couple. I don't know if he asked them as a meme. I think he probably thought I was going to avoid them, but he's got some spicy ones that I'm going to address because I think there's really genuinely interesting conversations around them.
Wait, really quick before we get into Walrus's meme questions, can we talk, like, what do you guys think about the PSA BGS thing? Is that like do you think that's a nothing burger? Like, what was you guys' knee-jerk reaction to that?
Oh yeah, as always, like if any of you guys have topics, like we can push off the chat interaction for a minute and we can talk amongst ourselves too. But so for anyone unaware, uninitiated on it, if PokeFlips is your only source of Pokemon info, Collectors Universe bought BGS recently. They I don't think we have like numbers disclosed, but the way that they're describing it is very analogous to the way they described the PSA CGC purchase a couple years ago. They say that BGS will remain a separate entity. They say that there will be no, like, you can't take a BGS 9.5 gem mint and guarantee to cross that over to a PSA 10. The scales, the operations are entirely independent, just like they did with SGC. I think it's brilliant. And context, too. I think I was kind of wrong 2 years ago. I'm going to say the same thing today that I said about the SGC thing. I said I think it's brilliant of PSA to buy another operation that has a premium 10. I've been pretty, like, outspoken against grading in general in some regards, like but PSA I kind of pick on them a little bit in that their 10 is a participation trophy. Look at the Burger True, 150,000 PSA 10s, 200,000, whatever it is, 90% of them get 10s. Like certain cards, the high print quality, certain cards, it's just like, well, getting a PSA 10 just means you submitted your card to PSA, because like almost all of them, majority of them it's just a participation trophy. You showed up. Yes, Burger Chew, you got a 10. Whereas the Black Label, be it real or be it not real, is it repeatable? Could you crack out a Black Label and get one? We all know that. But like it is a chase. It's not real. It's not consistent. It's not like, but it's hard to get. The percentages are way lower. So like, I've seen people speculate this. And for PSA to add a 9.5 or for PSA to add a premium 10 would be the worst business decision ever made in the history of like everything. For them, I've seen people propose it as if it was like a good idea. I've listened to content where people were like, hey, PSA should make a premium 10. You just enraged 70 million owners of current PSA 10s that exist in the wild over the past 30 years. Like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? That would be the dumbest decision ever. But the way, like, there is a distinct separate market for Black Label. There's a distinct separate market for like that premier chase. So Nat, PSA, they're able to in-house that consumer base without enraging the current one. And I think there's truly a way that PSA could lean out. They could all the increased efficiencies and stuff they've done in the scaling over the past few years, I think they could apply that to BGS. I think they could drastically scale BGS's throughput. Some of that will be cannibalizing their own. So some amount of, if they fix BGS and they 10x BGS's grading capacity and consumption, some of that will be at the cost of their own. Some people will transition from one to the other. But I think a large portion of it isn't interested in PSA. I think they can actually grow the consumer base for that black label without putting into jeopardy the 30-year history, 100+ million cards graded under the PSA 10 scale. So I think it's, but mind you, I said the same thing about SGC. They haven't entirely shuttered SGC, I don't think. I think it still exists, but like it's gone down over the years. I truly think BGS, though, with more confidence than I had last time around, I think PSA's plan is going to be to grow BGS. I think they're going to do it, trying to like capture that extreme chase black label gang, and I think they can do it without much cannibalization. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think if they hopefully they come in and like implement changes, get like BGS working like PSA, where you can actually see the status of your order, get in touch with someone if you have issues, kind of fix all those issues that are happening with BGS, and then kind of expand upon it. But yeah, I think overall it was a smart move for PSA to do. It is wild though how much PSA is growing, and owning so much of the market on like grading and even like the buybacks and all that stuff. They own so much of the market now, because now it's really just PSA and CGC, and then every other no-name company that's out there that'll never become anything.
Whatever happened to GMA? You remember them from the pandemic?
Yeah,
GMA.
yeah.
There's a lot.
Do you think we'll get our,
out there.
what was the not? It was a part of BGS, but it wasn't BGS.
BCCG?
Yeah,
BCCG. Yeah.
You could just tell them you wanted 10s on everything. It was almost like custom encapsulation, but they made it look like grading. Like everything was 10. Cards that were chewed up and spit out by your dog were 10 somehow. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's a smart business move, but like if these companies were public, like Lena Khan would be having a field day. Like antitrust lawsuits would be getting like leveled left and right. Like this is like, I'm not mad at Nat for doing it. It's like, yeah, this is going to print money, but like, this is such like, they've done a lot of stuff lately that's like a huge conflict of interest, which is in some ways surprising to me, because I thought that they were doing so well as is that they didn't really like need to do anything. But it's one of those things too, where like so much bad stuff has happened in the hobby and then like no one cares about it like a week later type thing. So it's like, they can kind of do whatever they want and no one's really going to care. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a bummer, but I guess like my thing would be like, it only opens the door for like more potential misbehavior too. Like is it possible that PSA buys a clean PSA 10 and then like sends it to Beckett to get a black label so that they can put like black labels in some crazy power pack, like, and how hard that's going to be to track. Like no one's ever going to be able to come up with definitive evidence. And even if they did, it'd be a thing for a week and then like we'd move on, because the difference between this and public markets is like in public markets, when profit margins are high, people will move in to compete, and that's good ultimately for the consumer. But that's assuming that like the product is relatively similar. Here, the reason that PSA can kind of get away with whatever they want is that even if everybody universally decided, hey, PSA, you made a bad boo-boo, the secondary market still values PSA slabs higher than like another grading company that you could consider like more moral. So that's the problem, is like, even if you don't like what they're doing, it's not going to change the market, because they have such a stranglehold on like the overall, like they are the #1 valued slab on the market. So it just kind of, it is what it is. But I like Dan's side of it too, because BGS's like logistics suck, you know, like it's just not good. So if PSA could optimize, you know, their shipping and receiving process to where like you're getting emails and there's a tracker, and modernize that side of it. And even if they cannibalize a little bit of PSA's submitters or whatever, BGS charges more. So assuming they like apply similar logistics or you know, operations, I guess, to BGS charges more. So even if they lose some people submitting to PSA, they're going to end up making more money anyways, because BGS, you know, charges more to grade the cards. So maybe they make it up on that end too. So plus, like, buying more plastic, like at volume, they probably get a bigger discount on plastic, right? So like now BGS is going to be able to like put stuff in slabs for even cheaper, because now maybe they're buying from the same manufacturers that PSA is, and then they get the slabs for even cheaper. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm bullish on Nat Turner's getting his fingers into a lot more pies in the space. He's if you look at a card in 5 years, if you look at a Pokemon card, Nat Turner will tax that transaction. He will. I mean, if you're mystery ripping, if you're grading, if you're buying on eBay, like he is getting entwined in all the avenues for capital extraction. Very, very bullish on his ability to do that.
Yeah, when the news first broke, Kai sent me like a message, and he was like, "Breaking news: Nat Turner buys the rights to plastic." Like he's just like he's crushing, man. Shouts out to Nat. Like he's ruthless for sure.
Yeah, I don't care what XY, Sun and Moon, Sword Shield, low pop WotC card. I don't care what you bought in the Pokemon space. Your ROI has not been as crazy as Nat's will have been. Private companies, and maybe someday that changes. Who knows? But bought a public company, took it private. Yeah, I'm sure his internal rate of return is very, very solid, and the scale of that too, absolutely crazy. I think that was a good pivot, though. You alluded to a little bit. I think that whole PSA buyback thing. I think that happened in the past 2 weeks, right? Before, like, since our last episode. PSA graded a bunch of 9s. The guy posted about it online, and he sold them back, and then he sold back 9s, and then they ended up 10s later. I truly think Hanlon's razor. I don't think that was malice. I think that was incompetence. I think that was just systems not communicating properly, as Nat described as such. But like the thought that the question is there is just not great. The thought that the question is there is like, hey, PSA is grading my card for $100 at this tier, and like if they 10 me, they simultaneously they change the $100 grading fee to $300, and then they give me a buyback offer at 90% to put it into the Lunar Power Pack, where they'll sell it and buy it back and sell it and buy it back, and like all these incentive systems are being created to like where dirty stuff could happen, naughty bad stuff could happen. I hope that it isn't happening. I don't think it's happening. I very publicly made a little bit of a fool of myself 2 months ago, saying that I don't think Rick Probstein is shilling his auctions. And then what happened? Rick Probstein definitively proved, allegedly, that he was partaking in some mischievous things over on Snipe. So it's like I'm being a little more cautious about what I say definitively with too much confidence, because like I truly don't know. Could there be bad actors inside any of these grading companies, swapping out cards, doing these things? Like Moonbreons are graded so frequently that like a grader could probably go with one in their pocket to work that day, and then swap out their 9 for a 10 that comes through. Like on a large scale, I don't think that stuff is happening, but on a small scale, probably everything you worry about having the possibility to happen, has probably happened once or twice. That's just like a sad reality. It is an unregulated market, and bad actors will find ways to engage nefariously and extract money from those places, for sure. I'm Honey Bunny. It was never Rick. Rick was framed. Definitely, allegedly. I hopped off the fence, and then I realized what I was doing, and I hopped back on the fence and said allegedly.
You just can't stay off the fence. You can't do it.
It is wild to me though, like, because I'm right there with you. Like I like the whole, you know, the Blake break dude or whatever. Like there's stuff, and it's just like, dude, you guys have so much money and there's so much potential. Like, why would you do something to ruin your reputation? Like, especially when you're already, because the bigger, I mean, I've always cared about, 100% positive feedback, treating people right, all that sort of stuff. But like the bigger my business gets, the more and more worried I am about reputation, and the more and more I will like try to make things right to make sure that the reputation stays solid. So it's crazy to me that these dudes that are, 100,000x my net worth are doing stuff like, it's just like, and maybe it's just like a power thing, or it's like you can get away with this, but it's like, dude, why? Like you are so dummy rich and your business is printing money. Like why even do? And maybe it's just because it's like, well, I am so rich, so I can get away with this. But I just don't. Yeah, it doesn't compute for me. Like it's crazy the amount of like big people that have done some like very bad boo-boos. And it's just like, dude, you didn't need, like, okay, someone has $500 to their name and they need to like pay for their family's food or whatever. All right, yeah, like you're gonna like, they steal, like that makes sense. But like these people that are like probably 100 millionaires that have long-standing businesses that are literally printing money that they're probably not involved in. It's I don't know. I've definitely given people too much credit too, because I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
See, I think it's almost the opposite, where reputation matters more when you're small than when you're gigantic. Because once you kind of establish your reputation, build a business, you kind of solidified yourself, so people are going to kind of go off of that. And then once you start doing those shady things, people just are either not going to believe it, or they don't have any other option. Like nobody's going to stop grading with PSA, and PSA knows that. So I think they can. I don't know if they are, like Dan said. I don't think they are doing this on like a massive scale, telling everyone in their company to buy back 9s and regrade them to 10s. But I think they potentially could do that and get away with it. But yeah, I don't think that is what happened.
And I'm not a tech guy, but could there not be one bad actor? Like there have been history of like they're a big company. When we say PSA, we're talking about 1,000+ people, 1,000+ individual employees. Could there be one bad actor? I hope they have fail safes. I hope they have checks in place. But there are bad actors at print facilities that steal cards. Could there be a bad actor at PSA that can press a couple buttons on the thing and they can buy back and they can do this, they can do that, they can generate a new cert, they can reslab that card as a 9? Like theoretically, any kind of crazy things could happen. And one thing Donnie Slab says, can we please clear up all the misinformation? I will definitively clear up the misinformation for you. So PSA is not buying back the slabs themselves. Third-party buyers are buying your slabs via their PSA buyer service. A PSA buyer service that PSA makes money on. One of the main buyers through that PSA buyer service is not PSA, but it is GameStop, who Nat sits on the board of. So, like, it's not PSA, but, like, is it not PSA? I mean, I get what you're saying, Donnie, but, like, I mean, they're making money off of it. Like, the same still applies, I think, to be fair. So, I appreciate correcting inaccuracies, but, like, really, is it different than PSA buying them back? No, not significantly.
It's the same. It's 100% the same.
It's like if I opened a company and I named it not KetchumAllCollectibles Incorporated, and I went into live streams, and it's like, oh, that auction went too low. And it's sad too, it's crazy, because like Probstein, and it's sick to like say that, but I some people do that. Like there are people that aren't as dumb as Rick was, that aren't as tech illiterate as Rick was. If Rick had just named the things, had he spent 10 minutes, instead of using his name, his address, his emails, had he spent 10 minutes generating these new names, and had he just done it properly, and he exposed his database, like Honey Bunny had his wife's name or his wife's phone number or his wife's address, had he spent 10 minutes just like really anonymizing the accounts that he made, he would have had plausible deniability. But like he didn't have plausible deniability because he didn't care, because he didn't think he'd get caught. But even though he got caught, like it doesn't matter because he's back on eBay. Like, all this stuff is crazy. But like, yeah, PSA is not buying them back. But like people who are making PSA a lot of money, people who are making some of the same owners, high-ranking board members, CEOs, ivory tower type people at both companies. Like it's different, but it's pretty similar.
I think that the craziest part of this whole situation is how that guy re-looked up the cert numbers. That part to me is wild. Have you ever gone back to a card that you owned previously and re-looked up a cert number? That's insane.
The whole thing was weird because he complained about it on Twitter. He got 1 million views. So PSA like regraded his cards, type of service that they wouldn't give to anyone else only because it went viral. And the whole thing was kind of weird. And again, I truly believe the same way that I believe that Rick wasn't bidding on his own auctions, and that aged poorly. I truly believe that this was not like, I think this was incompetence, not malice, but I truly don't know. And ultimately it's like, that's 2 weeks old. That's 2 week old drama. Like, who cares? The latest drama is whatever, the new print facility or this or that. And I think this one didn't catch the cycle as big in our space, at least because it was sports. But Walrus asked us like 40 minutes ago now. Thank you for being patient. And I think this spawns like a lot of interesting conversation. I can bring up some anecdotes and some additional conversation. But Mr. Walrus says, do you think Fanatics being accused of rigging card breaks has any impact on breaks or instant rips? Further, do you think the rigging extends to instant rips? So, like,
did this actually happen, or is he trolling?
So I'm going to give the little bit of information that I know about it. It didn't like catch the YouTube sphere, but I had somebody DM me about it. One of my big consigners actually DM me about it. And they're like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? The little bit that I know is that the London Card Show happened earlier this year, a few months ago, maybe. Let me look up the actual date. London Card Show 2025. I think it was a few months ago. Or maybe it's more than once. Oh, they have more than one show a year, so I don't know which one it was. But anyways, supposedly, allegedly, and I have no knowledge of this whatsoever, other than somebody DM'd me and I watched, like, I read one Sports Card Radio article about it. Allegedly, someone was in a room with a Fanatics employee and they said that, hey, this I've got the 1 of 1 in my bag here, and it's going to go to this guy, this breaker, supposedly. And I looked into it, and it's like, if it's a 1 in 1 of like a mass release, like that's kind of crazy. Like, let me inquire into this, because like I work with Fanatics and I hope they're not doing anything crazy. But like it's weird. It was a 1 of 1 sports card, which, as most people know, like sports cards, you don't have a 1 of 1 Leo Messi and there's only one ever. There's probably 1,000 1 of 1 Leo Messis, or even thousands for certain athletes every year. Hundreds for just the rookie year. But anyways, it was like a 1 of 1 that was created specifically for the London Card Show. So it was like guaranteed that it was being dispersed at this show, which is like kind of a unique thing. I've never really heard of another thing. Like sometimes you'll have a promo made for an event
like that. There's Marvel cards that came out at like San Diego Comic-Con, and like you could only get them from SDCC, and they only made a limited amount, but it is rare for sure.
And the allegation is that like somebody was in a room with some employee, and the biggest thing that I'm not sure if it's the case, but like I don't think there's been a video released of like, hey, this Fanatics guy saying this thing, showing him the thing, and then it got funneled to a breaker. Honestly, and I'm gonna relate this back to the One Ring. I don't know if you guys remember. Again, I am way too deep into PokeTube. I'm way too deep into like YouTube content around the card space. But like I remember the big theory. Oh, the One Ring, Magic is a scam company. They're gonna hold that back. They're not gonna put it in the initial waves, because if it gets pulled early, they'll lose money. They won't sell their stuff as well. They're going to make sure that hunt lasts as long as possible. And you know what happened? And other people were speculating it's going to get pulled by a big breaker, David Adams, whoever's going to pull it, somebody that they feed it to. And you know what happened? Some random guy in Canada pulled it and sold it to Post Malone for $2 million. And you know when it happened? Really freaking early. It happened so early. And the thing is, the thing that kills me is like people will throw these claims out there, and I'm not saying this is you, Mr. Walrus, because like this is a thing. Like Sports Card Radio has an article about it, but people will throw these things out there, and then it's like the whole like the mob on the internet is like usually guilty until proven innocent. Well, had the One Ring not been pulled for 6 months, had the One Ring not been pulled a year later, had the One Ring been pulled by someone big, it would have been a scam. There's proof. Rudy pulled it, or whatever big magic. Like, it would have been proof that it was a scam. But we have information in the reality we live in the world. Like, some dude in Canada pulled it, and like, so we know, was that guy the friend of a neighbor of a, like, I don't know for sure that Canadian guy was like some random guy, but like presumably he was. But that's the thing that kills me, is the guilty until proven innocent. These claims will be made, no backing. But let me share my screen quick. I'm gonna show, and maybe even give.
Oh, so just to clarify, you're saying some guy was in a room with a Fanatics employee who said that there was a one-on-one card of Messi, and they said that this card is going to be given to somebody at the London Card Show, but instead of going to the London Card Show, Fanatics gave that card to a breaker instead. Is that like the story?
So yeah. Again, look, I pulled up the Sports Card Radio article because, like, I don't know this firsthand, but apparently it was a Ronaldo. I got my soccer player wrong. But a Fanatics employee allegedly told multiple breakers at the May 2025 London Card Show that he knew exactly who would pull a one-of-one Ronaldo autograph because the card was sitting in his hotel room. Like, were there 50 of these boxes? And he had all 50? Like, was he saying that it was in his hotel room because he literally had the whole print run? Like, I have a brain. I rub my brain cells together and I think thoughts, and most people will just be like, oh, Fanatics scam, this scam, that scam. They'll just latch on to drama and they'll run with it. But like, somebody might have cheekily said, like, hey, I have the one-of-one in my room. They might have had the whole print run. I don't know enough about it, but people won't think critically. People won't, and again, like, I have no idea if this actually happened, but allegedly it was May 2025. Somebody actually says this. This is what always kills me too. I have the video. I have a video of this happening. Release the video. What are you doing? Like, what? I hate this. I hate this. It's like the files, the tapes, the this, the that. We're gonna release them. They're on my desk. Like, oh, I'm getting political now. Sorry. But like, I hate when people say they have something that's gonna blow up everything, and then they tease it. Release it. Release. What are you talking about? Release it. Drop the bombshell. Drop the nuke. Active. Like, please. I meet these claims with extreme skepticism, because it's like, show us the tapes. What are you talking about? Don't give me an article written on Sports Card Radio that says this, that says that. It's like, if you have the smoking gun, present it. So I take it with heavy grains of salt. I'm not saying it couldn't have happened, but like, even if that conversation did happen, it could have been some dummy employee saying something that he shouldn't have, being cheeky. The one-of-ones in my room. Well, yeah, because there's only 100 boxes that it can come from, and I'm going to shuffle them up and randomly hand them out. Or it could have been somebody handing it to their buddy or this or that. But then what happened? At the London show, the Ronaldo box went to a well-known UK breaker. Well, disproportionately, put myself at a London card show in May of 2025. The bigger companies are more well-known, and they open more product. So, like, if this one-of-one is inserted specifically for this card show, say there's 100 boxes, the big guy might open 50, and the little guys combined might open 50. So it's like, there's a coin flip chance that the most popular known streamer, like PokeRev, opens the one-of-one Charizard because he opens the most damn product. It's like, people are just so dumb that, like, there are reasonable ways that this could have happened, but people just immediately, they want to go to the drama, they want to go to the pitchforks, and then, oh, there's a video out there, I promise. Like, show it, and then, okay, let's have a conversation, let's review the video, like, give it to your Rattles, give it to your Sports Card Radio, like, let's put someone in jail if something bad happened to leak. Like, I'm all for that, but like, these claims are just, again, and here's another one too, because I think this is something that Walrus thought I wouldn't put on the screen, but like, instant rips. So for our anniversary stream, we turned one on October 4th, 2025, I believe. It was when I was in Seattle for card party. We turned 1 on Fanatics, and we had a special instant rip made for us. 50 cards with $1,004 buy-in. It was October 4th because it was a 1004 $1,004 buy-in for the instant rip. The ceiling, the chase was a Dark Charizard PSA 10. I guarantee you, if that was our 50th instant rip, was the Charizard, someone would have said Fanatics scammed, Fanatics controlled instant rip. They purposely put it at the end so they would all sell out. You know when we pulled that Charizard? We pulled that Charizard in about the 6th instant rip. And you know what happened? We had 40 instant rips go unsold because the Grail was gone. So it's like up front, oh, well, Dan and Fanatics are going to stream. They're going to feed their whales. They're going to give the good ones to the whales, and all the floors go to the other people. And they make sure the Grails go late because they want to sell them all. Well, you know what? All these tinfoil dumb conspiracies that came out about the one ring, I didn't forget them, but everyone else forgot them, because it's like we wouldn't have forgotten if it got pulled a year later by the biggest people. Oh, it's a scam. They fed it to their buddies over here, but it got pulled early. Like these theories go away. People forget about them when they're not proven right. But then, yeah. So all I see in this sports card radio, hearsay. Somebody said that somebody said. They say they have video. Show me. So I see hearsay with evidence. Give me the evidence. Then it's no longer hearsay. And then 2, part of the proof is that a well-known breaker opened it. Mathematically speaking, it is more likely that a bigger company will pull it because they open more. Like, people are just so effing dumb and so starved for drama that like, and people are so effing dumb too. I should have turned my lights red. I should have done the whole intro red light. I should have done that. But if like this could happen, the video could come out in a week. Something could happen. Somebody could have done naughty. They could go to jail. And they'll say, oh, Dan last week on Pokeflips, he was so wrong. That aged like milk. I'm not wrong saying what I'm saying with the information I have right now. Like, people are so dumb, though. They would be like, oh, Dan, like, I'm not sticking my neck out for anyone. I'm sticking my neck out for, like, innocent until proven guilty. And, like, you say you have the smoking gun and then you don't present it. This was the May card show. 7 months later, you have a video and you didn't release it? What are you talking about? Like, I know
There's also reasons people don't release videos. Fanatics can give them. I'm not saying this happened, but if you have a video, you can either release it and that company will get in trouble, but you don't get anything, or you can, hey, I have this video, Fanatics, give me whatever amount of money and it won't be released. That's why people don't release videos. No.
I guess that's tinfoil hatting the tinfoil hat theory and saying that the one with the evidence is in on the conspiracy and they're just trying to, and like, that could be true. That absolutely could be true. The alleged things could have happened and maybe someone's just trying to like make more money off of it. I fully understand that. But like the One Ring is a very interesting case study on like the tinfoil hats having all these theories being instantly disproven, and then, oh, nothing to see here. Forget about it. It just goes into like the forgotten bin. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like I don't disagree with you. I definitely think there's way too much like jumping to conclusions and pitchforking, and like, you know, people err on the side of like guilty until proven innocent rather than innocent until proven guilty. But the only thing I would say on the other side of that is if there was zero misbehavior, there would be a lot less accusations. Like so much actual stuff has been proven because like all of this is private. It's not regulated. That I think that's why people are quick a lot. I mean, and some of the time it's just the way they're wired. People like negativity. They want somebody to blame or throw under the bus or whatever. But like with the PSA thing, if PSA never did the thing with GameStop with the power packs, like if PSA just kept it as like GameStop is now going to be a hub where you can grade your cards through, great. But then when it gets into like the power pack thing, then as soon as something happens, like the switching of the grades, they're giving them like fuel for it. It's not to say that like PSA did anything bad, but it's like, well, you see what I'm saying? Like it, so that I think is why people do jump on it, because it's like we've seen so much bad stuff happen that it's hard, and companies continually just get away with it. So it's tough to ever believe that anybody's ever doing everything like 100% above board. But to your point, like I think a long time ago, didn't you make a video about like pull rates or something, and like you did the math on it or something to like show people that like you just because you open 100 packs does not mean you're guaranteed to pull an alt art? I don't get that a ton, but every once in a while someone will message me and say like, hey dude, like it's kind of like being a hockey goalie. You get all the blame if your team loses, but none of the glory if your team wins. I have had people message me, and it's not a ton or anything, but I've had people say like, hey man, I opened like 5 boxes and I didn't pull the main chase. And they're like, you know, you might want to check on your supplier. And I'm like, dude, like I've sold over 85,000 boxes this year. Like the fact that you opened 5 boxes and didn't pull the main chase of the set is not like indicative of, you know, like my supplier doing something sketchy or anything. Like it's, and I think actually a couple times I've literally linked you like your video
The
like
math
doing
behind
the math.
Moonbreon.
Yeah, like two people, and they've been like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because you know they don't understand that every time you open a new pack, your odds reset. Every time you open a new box, your odds reset. Like the human brain is wired to think like, well, if I open enough, like I'll eventually get there. Like that meme where like most gamblers stop before they hit pay dirt, and it's the guy like chopping. But like that's not how it works. Like math resets every single time you open a new box. So like it's like I get it, and I know that there's like some resealing and stuff that goes on, but it's hard to tell people. And then on the other side of it, like Mega Dream, I don't know why, maybe there was a batching issue, but I've had a ton of people message me and be like, dude, these boxes are cracked. I've had people pull like a gold card and an alt art in the same box and stuff like that, which is nice. Like it makes me feel, it's not like I did anything, but like that's how math works. Sometimes you're going to get like these crazy good hits, and sometimes you're going to open 5 boxes in brick because it's all gambling, and it just is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know if I'm going to go as far as to say people are so effing dumb, but I definitely echo the sentiment that people are bad at math and sometimes need to be reminded how like odds work, you know? So anyways.
Yeah, and a RuneScape player, if the pull rate, we don't even know the pull rate definitively for Moonbreon. Some people say it's 1 in 1,000. Some people say it's 1 in 2,000. It's somewhere in between there probably, but say it's 1 in 1,000 for this exercise. If 1,000 people open 1,000 packs each, on average, you're going to pull 1,000 Moonbreons. If it's 1 in 1,000, you open 1,000,000 packs. 1,000 Moonbreons on average will be pulled. It'll be 950 to 1,050, someone in there, 99% confidence interval. But of those 1,000 people pulling the packs, opening the packs, on average, 63%, only 63% get the card by the pull rate. So 37% will pull 0 Moonbreons in 1,000 packs. So over 1 out of 3 people are expected to not pull the card in the pull rate. How does the math work out? Some of the people that pull 1 will pull 2. Some will pull 3. Some lucky bastard will probably pull 8 or something. So long-term average, how it all works out, like the people who get really lucky, everyone that pulls 2, you need someone to pull 0 to balance out the scales, right? But yeah, it just drives me kind of crazy. It drives me kind of crazy when stories like this happen without any kind of like, and the whole Probstein shilling for decades, all this stuff, like as far as I know, there was no like smoking gun. He was the one who had the smoking gun and like handed it to the everyone. He handed it to the internet. But in this instance, like if you're gonna maybe deep like tinfoil hat, Nick is saying like he could be leveraging, trying to get some big payday, like that could happen. But like if you're on Fnatic's side, like how do you pay someone with that? Like, oh, it's a digital copy of a thing. Like they take $1 million and they have 50 more copies of it and they release it a year later. Like, hey, like that would be crazy. But anyways, Walrus said in chat, I read that Fnatic's employees were calling out who was going to pull the card. Again, like, could that have been somebody speculating, hey, I think like these guys have half the boxes. I think they're probably going to pull it. Could it have been someone nefarious? Like it could have been one of many, many things. I just don't know. It's like if there's a video out there, show it. But if not, like it's just a crazy thing. But yeah, 1 of 1 special product made only for a certain event. Like I never knew a product like that even existed. It's kind of an intriguing part of the hobby that I didn't know was there. But yeah, there's been histories of cards sneaking out of print facilities, and like, is it impossible that it happened? No, like I can't definitively say that for sure. It would have been hilarious if Rudy pulled, like, Rudy does those Patreon videos when he opens. Like that would have been insane. But it's just funny because, like, had he pulled it, that would have confirmed that, like, it was all a scam and this and that, and like, it's, some people just they get way too crazy with that kind of stuff. It's like,
Cairo, it's 50-50. Stop trying to overcomplicate.
Yeah. You either get it or you don't. There's only two outcomes, so it's 50-50. And yeah, Bierski, a quick little anecdote from anyone unfamiliar with Martingale. You bet a unit, and then if you lose, you double your bet, and then if you lose again, you double your bet. So you bet $1 on blackjack or any like 2-to-1 game. You bet $1, and if you lose, you double it. So you're betting 2 to win the original one. And if you lose the $2 bet, you bet 4, you bet 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Mathematically, the house still has their edge. Mathematically, it's a very poor system for like making money over the short or long term. But over the short term, it's one of the better things. Like, if you just want to win $100 and you have a $10,000 bankroll and you want to go, like, you have a high odds of making $100. Bierski opened up whatever betting app it was. He lost like 6 straight blackjack hands. He martingaled his $100 to 0 without winning one hand. And it was in New Jersey. It was after IPAs. It was hilarious. It is literally, like, I've had a lot of great times over the years at a lot of collecticons, a lot of events with people. That is a standout event. Like, that is a standout one that I will remember, like, forever. That was hilarious. Oh man, it was so funny. In 2 minutes, he just lost every hand. And then what's funny is, I said, knowing that this is not the case mathematically, but I did the whole gambler's fallacy thing. I said, hey, the room is due. Like, Bierski just went cold. He just went on a cold streak. The universe is imbalanced. The room is due. I used Spat's app. I said, hey, I'll Venmo you $100 if I lose. I did $100 on one hand and I lost. So we cumulatively lost like 7 hands in a row. It was hilarious. Oh man. Anyways, where are we at now? I think we might fully be caught up now.
You have like 5 more started, so I didn't even look at them.
All right,
two of them.
Not to like white knight for you or whatever, but Walrus said, Dan, I'm going to be more cynical. Also, Dan, when it comes to fanatics, I need more proof. That's a false equivalency. Dan is saying I need to be more cynical because he's giving too much credit to like these rich people like doing bad stuff. But the fanatic, like, he's also blanket saying I need more proof from, like, it could be eBay, it could be PWCC, it could be fanatics, whatever. He's just like, show me the proof. The thing he needs to be more cynical on is because proof was shown, and these people that he had given all this like benefit of the doubt to actually came out to be doing bad stuff. So that I know he's memeing, but you know.
Yeah, and 2 years ago, if you would ask me, I would have said, like, Blake Martinez, former NFL player, like, do I think he's rigging games to get $10, $100 here? Like, I would have said, no, I don't think he's doing that. I'm going to be more cautious. Like, I did say too, and I know it's a straight meme by Walrus, but like, this could have happened. I really hope it didn't, but like, it could have happened. I think it's unlikely to have happened. Just in general, I don't know. Like, if there's evidence, please put it out there. I want fanatics to fire the people, put people in jail. Like, when people do bad things, I want them to go to jail. Go away. Get out of the hobby. We don't need that. Theoretically, I mean, the whole Blake's Breaks thing, and I didn't even follow the Blake's Breaks thing. Was that streamers acting on their own? Was that from Blake top down? I don't even know what happened there. Was that like organized by Blake, or was that like some, because like this Fanatics thing could have been a rogue employee, or it could have theoretically been top down. Like, do I think the owner of Fanatics said, hey, you go do this? And like, no, like, could it have? I really hope not. I don't think so, but like, yeah, crazy things have happened. And It's sad. It's sad what people will do in the name of greed, in the name of more, when they have more than enough. But anyways, moral of the story: if there's a video, show it. Get the people out of the hobby. Get the people in a jail cell. Like, and I truly don't know. I didn't follow the videos. I didn't follow the 80 video series. I don't know if Blake knew about it or not. I genuinely don't know. Like, maybe someone in chat can let me know. Is the idea that, as far as I know, it was energy cards from within like sleeve booster packs that were like mappable by the case or whatever. So they were rigging them based off that. But was it a streamer? Was it Blake? No clue. Shout out to Retro buying Phantasmal at 1100 shipped. If you want to offload your Phantasmal before it goes below MSRP. We do have some more questions. Spaceman wants to know, hot topic lately. How do you guys feel about the Poke Bros jumping into One Piece? Personally, I love the crossover, but not everyone feels that way. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I've talked enough.
Good. Get out of the hobby. Move on to the next hype thing. I'll never understand One Piece. I've never gotten into it. Probably never will. There's enough that keeps me busy in Pokemon that I'll just stick with that.
Yeah. I have like I did have like a bunch of. I was buying like the Bandai Cardos boxes pretty aggressively for like 2 to 3 years. And back before I even like really knew what One Piece was, the boxes were like really cheap. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna buy these. I know One Piece is popular. And this was like 3 years ago, but they've just been sitting on my shelf. And like now that One Piece is popping, I started listing them and like they're all selling through. So I'm happy about it in that sense. But I think people jumping like, oh no, like Sword and Shield boxes are down 15%. Like I gotta go to One Piece. It's like, dude, oh man, like if you just stick it out, like you're gonna be rewarded. Like it's kind of like day trading or something. It's like, yes, maybe 5% of day traders are really successful, but it's like if you just stick it out with Pokemon. I remember at one of the Collecticons, one of the guys, not Peak Dachu, but the other Peak. The like store owner dude that was like the other guy that was like kind of his like vending partner owns a really big shop that's north, like maybe an hour and a half north of me. And I remember talking to him and he said, you know, I've done Magic, I've done Yu-Gi-Oh, I've done Flesh and Blood, I've done all this stuff through the store. And he's been in business for a long time. And he basically just said, if I would have not done anything but Pokemon, I would be so far ahead, like so much further ahead. And so I don't know. I just kind of, it's not to say like you can't dabble in other stuff, but like ditching Pokemon to go to One Piece just because everybody's talking about it right now. Like I don't personally think that's like a great move. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
I've actually gotten allocations of One Piece since OP05, and there were some sets where like I was busy with whatever. I set it back on a shelf and I forgot about it for a few sets. I just consign them all. I just sent today. I sent my last 2 cases of OP13. I believe we're on now. My last 2 sold for $4,000, $3,700, $3,800, and like $4,200 through DC Sports. My last 2 are headed to DC Sports today. Could it go up? Absolutely. Am I buying into it? Like, no. I'm getting allocations through distro still. I think I have 8 cases coming of every set, like I have over the past 12 of them. But I'm just selling it. I don't know anything about it. I don't care to get into 1,000 episode anime anytime soon. I've tried some other animes and I'm just not an anime guy, I guess. But like, I don't wish ill on the, I think some people get like frustrated about like, oh my God, that like my Pokemon stonks are down 20% and One Piece is like doubling. And like, I'm not mad at them about it. I wish the best for everything that everyone's doing. But yeah, I think it's a bit crazy. But one thing that I've said too is people love to buy high, sell low. Anecdotally, I had collections that I was quoting for say it's 20 grand collection. I was offering 90% on collections 2 months ago. That they said no because they wanted 95%. They wanted 100%. And then like recently, I've bought some of the same collections But instead of buying them for 90%, now I'm buying them at 80%. And instead of the value being 20 grand, now the value's down to like 15 grand because the stuff fell 25%. So there are some people saying yes to 13 grand that said no to 18 grand 2 months ago. People sell low and people buy high. Some people will just do that all the time. It's like, hey, it just doubled. Let me buy before the next double. Hey, it's down 20%. Let me sell before zero. Like that's just what people do. There's so many studies out there, like in the real markets. There are so many studies, like over a period of 10 years where the S&P returns an annualized like 10%. They'll look at like Vanguard fund holders, brokerage accounts. They'll look at like Robinhood accounts, whatever. Over a time frame where the underlying like market does X, people will do like some 30% less, or I'm making up the numbers, but like people will just consistently underperform markets because they just dance in and out. They buy at the highs, they sell at the lows. It's crazy. Let's see. Krabby's Cards wants to know who you got: Power Rangers, the Ninja Turtles, or Mortal Kombat?
Power Rangers for sure.
Retro was surprised on that one. Who do you got, Retro?
Well, I mean, if they were like all fighting each other, actually, like Mortal Kombat's cast wins for sure. But like, which one do I like the best? Probably Ninja Turtles. But like, Mortal Kombat is brutal, dude. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the fatalities on there, but it gets dark. It gets dark.
Yeah. I would say Power Rangers, as far as my nostalgia, my youth, all that stuff. Ninja Turtles close. As far as like a collaboration though, so the next Poncho Pikachu set can either be Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, or Mortal Kombat. Which one are we most bullish on? Let's take it another way. So Ninja Turtles we're bullish on? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Pikachu with 4 different color bandanas and different weapons would go crazy. Like that, yeah, that would be insane.
There you go. We got they are doing Universes Beyond Ninja Turtles, right? I believe I've heard that. Who they just do? Spider-Man they just did, but isn't the Ninja Turtles one coming? Or am I wrong? Magic?
I haven't heard anything. I don't know.
I think one's coming. Yeah, Google autofilled. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles MTG. This might be something else.
They say it is coming in March.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought I heard Rudy talk about it. Yeah. Here's our final active question that we have. We probably are going to wrap up in the next 20 minutes or so. This one might spur a little bit of conversation, but if you have any final questions to get in before we end, feel free to pop them in chat. This is a big one, though. Are you guys ready for the new season of The Golden Show? Are you guys ready to witness some more of Ken's golden touch?
I actually do like that show, so I am excited for it. I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, I've been a long-standing proponent of that show for sure. I've been buying some stuff that I'm hopeful shows up on season 3. So we'll see. Hopefully Ken can sprinkle a little gold dust my way. But yeah, I like the show. It's cheesy for sure, but I think it's cool that all the different stuff they cover. It's fun to watch.
Are you hopeful, or have you got a little bit of insider information we can spill a little sauce late in the pod?
I mean, even if he doesn't mention it, the market's up I guess I can just say it, like Radar's all over, but like I've been buying production art for like a long time. Yeah, like I've been buying cells and stuff for like a few years now. And I was bullish on it back then just because it seemed really cheap for what it was, especially like some of the Pokemon stuff. I mean, like people are paying, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for a Mitsuhiro Arita sketch with a Sharpie that took him like 2 seconds. And you can get like actual clips from the show of Ash and Pikachu for a fraction of the price. So I was just like really bullish on the space as is, but my macro sort of like bet, I guess, was like, if you watch season 2, the whole theme is he's like, well, we're already crushing it in sports and memorabilia and stuff like that. I want to be doing the same GMV in pop culture collectibles. And recently, over the past year, there's been like a couple big sales on like Heritage and other auction houses for some really big anime production art pieces. So with all the stuff that he did last season, I could see production art being something that shows up on the 3rd season if he's primarily continuing to focus on like pop culture collectibles. So we'll see what happens. The market's up regardless, which is nice. But if he talks about it, I think things are gonna rip for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know when it's coming? Really soon, right? Is it like this weekend?
I think it's next week, the 23rd.
It says coming soon, but I don't see.
It's
I'm
like
on my
2
Netflix.
or 3 days before Christmas.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't see where the date is. I see the trailer, which probably shows in the trailer. But I know that I have sold through Golden before. I've just, as a test, I've sent a couple things just to see the process and everything. It's not a large part of my business. I think I did it one and done just to experience the process. But there are big items coming, and I've gotten emails from my reps at Golden. There are very big items coming that they're intelligently dropping to coincide with the launch of the new season. So I think I don't know if the previews are already up. There are very large Pokemon things. I don't think it's been announced yet, but there are very, very big ones coming up to coincide with the launch of the new season of the Golden Show. Not just Pokemon, like sports things too. But do you guys think, are we going to get some kind of a mini boom? Any big plays aside from the sales? Any big market implications, do you guys think? Or only if like certain cards or items are shown, do you think it will have?
I can't see it. Not in Pokemon anyway. Just because the only Pokemon things they'll show are like trophy cards or something massive. They're not gonna show stuff that normal people would buy.
Dude, I mean, we're already booming, so like I don't think that anything's really gonna change. But I will say, like, some of the Japanese promos are still like they've been the same price for like the past 3 years, and it's kind of nuts to me. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any position in this, but I've been watching it for a while. But like Indigo Plateau is like $1,000 PSA 10, and it's been in like you can catch it on auction for probably like $600-700. That card's been the same price for like 3 years. There's no reason for that card to be that cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like Burn Tower, that's a pretty cheap card. Like they've got all the fun. I just
bought a Burn Tower.
Did you? Yeah, I mean, they've like that kind of stuff. It's like if you're looking for value, I mean, like not financial advice, but like, dude, that kind of stuff to me, it has insane upside. Like I could see Burn Tower being like an $8,000 to $10,000 card. I could see Indigo Plateau being like $3,000 to $5,000. Like those cards are bangers. They have popular Pokemon. Like they're from it. Like it's got all the fundamentals that you would want to have if you're like a vintage investor lover type thing. So maybe if more of that kind of stuff shows up on Golden, maybe some more attention will be sort of shown to those kinds of cards. But I still think there's a lot of Japanese base hasn't moved for like I mean, you can still buy a lot of PSA 10s of like Japanese base hollows for like $300 to $500. I think Alakazam is like maybe a $400-500 card or something. I don't know, like maybe I'm way out, but I still think there's a lot of value to be had. There's some good pickups you can find if you do your research. So
yeah, years ago, Burn Tower, those two cards specifically, Burn Tower and Indigo Plateau, I was buying a bunch on Buyee, grading them. They were pretty easy to grade, and I sold 4 or 5 Burn Tower specifically. Crystal's my favorite game. You've got Entei, Raikou, Suicune in the image there in front of the Burn Tower, and it's a hollow prize card in Japan. In English, it's like it's a trainer card in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, whatever. But really, really cool card. I sold 4 or 5 of them for like $4 or $5 grand a piece back in the last boom, and I just picked up the most recent one on Heritage for $3,000 after their buyer's premium and fees and everything. I want to say it was like $3,200 or whatever. But like, so full disclosure, I own exactly 1 copy. I own the exact copy that just sold on Heritage. But that's kind of like a little bit collector boy Dan. I missed that card. That was one of my favorite cards, and I haven't owned one in years. But to buy it for half of what I sold them for a few years ago, it's like, man, all the things that went up so much, and that card is down. Let me scoop one. If it goes to 10K in the next year, like I'll probably just sell it again and whatever. But like that's on a very short list of like cards that I want to own in 20 years. Whenever I'm done with all this, and like I want to have a little PC of like that makes my top 10, top 20 slabs that I want to own. So I do own one as of today. It just hasn't arrived yet. But yeah, I was looking at my email. December 23rd is when it premieres. I got an email like a month ago from my golden rep basically saying like, hey, we're gonna be on the pump. We have prime consignment opportunities across all these things. Like we want to have a juice. It's November Elite. So that was what was live then. It must be the December Elite auction. I would think those would already be live. I'm not super familiar with like Golden's schedule, but I think next week I've heard a couple of the items that are going to be there. There are some big items in the Pokemon space that are going to be available. Really interested to see. I'm sure we'll talk about it. Whatever Pokeflips happens during or after those auctions. Kai wants to know. Strip away all the nuance, all the just one answer. Line up, line down in 2026. No context, no nuance, just one singular answer.
I'm going up. I'm going up.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good year. I do. I'm positive on it. So line up, I guess, with no context.
I'm gonna go up with no context. I want so bad.
I thought you would say it could go up, it could go down.
Well, that's the real answer. That's the real answer that I'm not allowing myself to give, because I think Kai was seeking just very quick, singular. Kai's all in, so up. If I have to choose between up and down, I'm saying up. If I get given 30 minutes to contextualize and to give you different areas, I could definitely do that, but I will spare everyone.
Yeah, we don't need the 30-minute lecture.
Can I? Okay, just really quick, like. Here's the like, I know like a lot of people want to take the other side of like, oh, people are so excited about the 30th anniversary, but it doesn't actually mean anything. The difference, like the biggest thing I see, the difference between the 25th and the 30th, the 25th was just like the cherry on top. Like everybody was stuck at home, things, everything was going on. And then all these new people that had come in were like, oh, and it's the 25th anniversary. This time, there is so much infrastructure built out. The hobby is so much bigger. There are so many more fans. Pokemon is more worldwide than it's ever been. The trading card hobby is more massive, and everybody's looking forward to it. So they're going to like service that interest. Back then, it was just like, oh, it just so happens to be the 25th. Now it's like everybody already is here and loves this stuff, and the 30th is coming up, and people are like, yo, this is going to be nuts. And subjectively, I feel like they've been killing it. Like the Mega stuff, personally, I feel like that's some of the best stuff that they've put out over the past couple of years. Like the Mega sets are really good. They look really nice. The arts are cool. The quality's good in English and in Japanese. I feel like they're firing on all cylinders right now. It's tough for me to be negative going into next year, man. I think they're going to keep on crushing it.
I agree with you.
You just drastically expanded upon your answer, so I'm going to expand upon mine minimally.
Oh God!
I'm going to say down. I could be wrong here, as always, but I'm going to say down on Destined Rivals cases. I'm going to say down on Phantasmal Flames cases. Things like newest sets above MSRP. I'm not buying, but like they might do fine. Like I'm actively net buyer. I'm a net buyer heavily right now. I've bought a lot of Sword and Shield. I've bought Evolving Skies cases. I've been seeing this 10, 20, 25% drop as like a little bit of a discount. I'm accrual, so I can't really spend a zero in that fashion, but I'm spending down a little bit to end the year. So I'm bullish, but it's not universal. So I just don't want someone to click that. Dan said up. I copied Retro. I put my entire net worth into Phantasmal Flames ETB cases, or booster box cases, and I'm down 30%. I'm down 30%, and I'm on the street living in my my booster case castle of 50 booster cases. I just need to put that out there. I'm teasing, obviously. I don't think Retro's advocating for that either. I can't say for certain, but if you have 50 grand to your name and it is money that you need in the next year to feed your family, to pay your rent, to do all these things, I don't think Retro is advocating for putting it all into Phantasmal at 1,100 a case. I could be wrong though.
All in on Hanafuda. This is what you guys need.
There you go. So there's the real sauce. I think with that though, we're fully caught up. So between now and our next episode, it will still be no. We're gonna have to figure that out, Nick. We'll probably like New Year's Day. I don't
next week, or no, we can't skip. We don't have to skip next week.
It's New Year's Day. Like if it was New Year's Eve, I wouldn't do it on New Year's Eve. But New Year's Day is not a big deal. Like I don't do anything on New Year's Day really. So we'll talk about it between now and then. But like our next episode will be in 2026. Between now and then, Christmas, New Year's. You guys have any big plans you want to talk about? Any big 2025 retrospect, 2026 thoughts, plans, ideas? Like yeah, what are your thoughts closing out the year, starting a new one? Between this and next episode.
That's wild.
That is crazy.
I mean, I have like some I guess like vanity sales goals for next year, but like main thing is like I need to do content. I need distribution. And yeah, I'm really trying to push the direct to consumer stuff through eBay and Walmart. So I'm gonna keep on scaling that. But yeah, 2026, I'm gonna go hard on the business content for sure, and just try to like put myself out there more, hire people, stop like leaving money on the table because I'm too stubborn to like figure out how to hire people. It's weird, like I've had a couple of things where like now that I've sort of got like P&L for the end of the year, things that I've been putting off, seeing how much they're costing me on paper, and then thinking about why I've put them off. And it's literally just because I'm like, oh, I don't have time to do that. But then when you see it on paper and I'm like, wow, like I'm losing this much money by not taking 2-3 hours to go and figure this out. Like I gotta stop doing stuff like that. And that comes with like trusting people a little bit, hiring employees. Because yeah, I'm definitely going to hit a revenue ceiling soon if I don't get some help. So I need to stop being a dum-dum and just get that going. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 17 times, I won't be fooled again. I said the same to John. I love you, John. I love you, Radar. I love you, Retro. I put the link in the description. Go sub. Go comment on his latest live stream that he did last night with Dan and say, hey, I am here for the videos. I am here for the content that you promised to me in Pokeflips. I feel like 3 years ago when we ended our thing, there was probably talk of consistent content. And so hold Retro accountable. Make him make the content for us. It is tough, though. It is as talking as a podcast who's going up on 5 years consecutive episodes every other week. Talking as the one consistent YouTuber over the past 5 years. I've done a video every week for the past 5 years. It is not easy. It is not like directly rewarding, proportional to the amount that you put into it. But we talked a little bit pre-stream too. But like the indirect one, like the friendships. Like I grew my friendship with Nick, and I met a lot of people for the first time on here. We talked about the shows we went to and the times that we had in person, and the indirect value that the YouTube channel brings to me, and hopefully a handful of people out there, the value that it brings to them, seeing my mistakes, not emulating them, seeing my thoughts and suggestions, and hopefully it brings some amount of entertainment or value to people. So the indirect stuff is massive. The amount of my consignments that came from YouTube, the amount of collection buys that I get, or whatever, the amount of relationships made from it. So I think I think you know this, but like it will be a boon to your business to be consistent. But it is very easy to not do it. So that first day that you're thinking like I'm not feeling it, set a schedule, stick to it, please. It will be rewarding to us being able to engage in the content, consume the content. It will be rewarding to you because you will the YouTube algorithm will find you people that you did not know existed that you'll be selling to wholesale. That whatever it will be. Please do it.
Well, that was the goal with like the video last night too. Was kind of meant to be like advertising a little bit for like consulting. So if you guys like watch that and you feel like it provides you value or you'd like something similar done, that was a long one. That was like 2 hours, and I wanted to give him a good deal. But like moving forward, I ideally would like, depending on the size and scope of the consult, might need to like charge more. But if it's just like one main bottleneck or something that you need to like work through, and it could just be like a 30-45 minute consult, like I'd like to keep doing those. They don't have to be live, but I think it's interesting content, and I don't really think anybody in the space is like doing that kind of stuff. Like, so, you know, if you find that valuable and like you need help with your business or you're having a bottleneck and maybe you need somebody like outside looking in to maybe help you out, I'd like to continue doing that for people. I'd like to keep helping people and making like interesting, more business like focused content, because I think maybe that's like a niche that hasn't been hit yet. So and I enjoy doing it. So yeah. So that's shameless plug, I guess.
Go like and sub and hold him accountable.
Yes, keep it coming. Keep it coming.
What do you think, Nick? Any big live stream? I know you're doing. We can self-show a little bit here at the end. I'm doing 12 Days of Christmas. We've been doing some MSRP drops on Fanatics. I'm doing a giveaway every day of December up till Christmas. We've done like an art set of Fusion Strike, art set of every set from Fusion Strike to current. Are you doing? What do you do with respect to like? Do you do Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day? Do you do any of those?
No, my last stream will be December 23rd. That's when we'll do kind of our big Christmas stream. We've been doing daily giveaways where people can you start December 1st, you start with 1 pack. The winner can either choose that 1 pack or get entered into a bigger giveaway. And then the next day we double the amount of packs. So we'll do the final drawing for the big giveaway on the 23rd. I'm really excited. I got some of the SpongeBob like Topps Chrome booster boxes. So we're gonna use those as giveaways, as like just like regular giveaways too. But I cannot wait to open those boxes. I'm so excited for that.
Wait, I'm having a flashback to last year. This blew my mind last year, and it's blowing my mind again.
I did remember our conversation last year, and I did cap the packs. I capped it at 128. We got up to 64 packs at one point, but we've never hit the 128.
Name and shame them. They didn't let it go to 128. I was gonna say like going back to our people being bad at math. So if what you did last year, the entire premise is like you can either take 1 pack on December 1st or you can pay it forward, and it's 2 packs on the 2nd, and then it's 4 on the 3rd, and it's 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. On the 24th day of December, it would be 8.3 million booster packs. So I made the joke last year on PokeFlips. I'm like, hey, we can just bankrupt Nick. Like literally everyone agreed together to roll it forward. And then everyone that wins, the 23 participants, could collude together, talking about nefarious things in the hobby. They could all collude together, and then they could take an even split. So 8.4 million packs that Nick would have to pay out on the New Year, Christmas Eve, divided by the 24 winners. Everyone gets, what is that, like 350,000 booster packs each. So it's like we just need to cooperate together. Everyone, that's like one of those the prisoner experiments or whatever, the prisoner's dilemma. Do you do something that like is guaranteed to make everyone's outcome better, or does someone cheat along the way and then they take only 1 million booster packs for themselves on like December 19th or whatever? But I like mathematically. I like that you capped it.
Yes, yes.
The evil inside of me, the cynic inside of me, kind of loves that someone took it at 64 packs instead of allowing it to go.
I don't think we'll ever get. I don't think we can ever get past that. I don't think that's a lot because we did the math. The 64 packs was like $600 in value. That's a good chunk right there.
It's hard to turn that down. But that's where like game theory comes into it, and like I love that you did that. You did that again, but I do kind of the logical mathematical part of me likes that you capped it, but like the evil part of me is like, man, we should have bankrupted Nick. We should have had everyone collude together and make him give away $50 million worth of booster packs. That's so funny. But sorry to interrupt for my little math rant there. Anything else you wanted to add on Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff?
Yeah, so we'll be taking a break Christmas, which will be nice. I think I'm going to do a stream New Year's Eve. I don't do anything for New Year's Eve, and I think there's a lot of people who don't do anything. So I think that'd be kind of a fun stream. So we'll do. I don't know what it'll be, but we'll do a fun stream for New Year's Eve. And then next year it'll just be I want to get better about planning events for the live streaming, making it more event based than just like the same old stuff every day. And then also next year will be the year that I bring back the eBay store. That's going to be a big priority for me. It's gone so long where I haven't cared whatsoever about it that now that we're kind of in the groove with the lives, I think that's the next big thing.
Who's going to be primary on that? Is that you, Walrus?
Oh, that'll all be me. Yeah.
Except for,
but yeah, it'll be
you, right?
What?
The packing?
That'll be me, yeah. Because it's not. I'm not gonna have thousands of listings. It's just gonna be. It's gonna be stuff that doesn't do good in streams. So like a lot of like full art trainers, higher end PSA 10 cards. So it'll be like a couple hundred listings. We're not going back to thousands and thousands of listings.
No, you must have watched the Danazard consult last night. No 99 cent.
I almost hit the thumbs down button on that. Did not appreciate that comment, but
all that,
it was very good.
All that cheap single slander. I mean, there were a lot of like bulk kings out there that were like, hey man, I've got 25,000 25 cent and under listings on TCG Player, which some people do make that into a good business.
But do they have a full-time job, a wife, and a new baby?
Context always matters. Yes,
most of those people probably are doing it full-time, and that's the point I was trying to make. I was like, dude, you got to value your time. So
yeah, that's where it goes back to that. Same arena, different rules, different games. Like if you're making, and again, you didn't share a number, but like I've had similar things too. Like if you're making $200,000 a year in your day job, and then you're like grinding bulk on the side for $10 an hour, and you're like missing soccer practices and games and whatever, it's like, okay, that's a different conversation. But yeah, with respect to Christmas and New Year's, and I do have to say, for anyone that made it late, I don't guarantee many things, but like there are going to be deals tonight on Fanatics. Ponga is doing a massive stream. He is doing 20,000 plus in like selling some niche sealed items, selling some slabs, some singles. We have a little bit of budget from Fanatics, so we're going big. There will be deals, I guarantee it. There will be things that you could buy that are just like you just buy and you can sign with the Green Shiz or with DC Sports or whoever, and you just make money. Like there will be things going for 50, 60% of market. Every time we do a big Fanatics stream, I'm not saying everything, but like some things always slip through the cracks. If you want to go check that out, Fanatics live tonight. Ponga will be running that one. It'll be a good one. Other than that, I don't even know. I'm assuming nobody's running on Christmas Day. Both either the eBay guys or the Fanatics guys, and then New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, probably going to be somebody doing something, but I'm not even sure.
If you're gambling on Christmas Day, get help. Seek help, please.
Oh man, I'm sure there'll be people on instant ripping, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, I definitely have a lot of family engagements, both New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. I'm looking forward to a 5-day weekend next week. I'm gonna do minimal work Friday. I'm definitely off Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I'm gonna try to touch messages for like 2 hours tops, maybe an hour tops, and I'm trying to have a 5-day weekend next week.
As
It'll be
opposed to your
good to
4-day weekends normally.
Yeah, eat some mashed potatoes. Watch It's a Wonderful Life with your family. Do not be gambling on Christmas. That is like no. Please,
Yes.
please no, people. One day needs to be sacred.
Yeah, but with that, cheers to another great year in the books. We're coming to the close of year 5 of PokeFlips, which is crazy. We don't have a massive community here, but it's a solid one. It's a solid one, and these live streams wouldn't be what they were without everyone here. We appreciate you all for sure. Hope everyone has a happy, safe Christmas, New Year's, holidays, whatever you celebrate. With that, we will catch you all later.
See you later.